Hey everybody, welcome to Frame Trap. I am your host, Brad Ellis. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Michael Damiani.
What's up, everyone? How's it going?
We have a stacked lineup this week. The most stacked we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it matches the month.
Yes. Joining us also is Daniel Bloodworth.
Yo.
Michael Huber.
Yo.
And a very special guest, Dustin Furman from Last Stand Media. What's up, Dustin?
Yo, thank you for having me. We were briefly chatting. I was trying to hold it back, but I gotta say I'm truly, and I mean this, honored to be on the show. I've been listening to the show for years and years and years before I was in the industry at all, and it's one of my favorite shows ever. I love you guys, so this is a huge honor for me. And I heard him beforehand, but Don, where are you at? Is Don still? Is he still plugged in?
Don,
I want you to know I'm the #1 fan of Don's Discount Gaming. Please bring it back.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you.
For the people.
For the people, dude. For humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
We got to figure out how to bring that thing back.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Dustin, you're on Sacred Symbols, which is the biggest PlayStation podcast in the world. Is that correct?
It's hard to quantify that exactly. The people I work with would love to say that's 100% true. I don't know. There's different ways. Like, we don't get certain, like, you guys know that on Patreon, you don't get the numbers, and numbers are all over the place across YouTube and Patreon and public feeds and stuff. So, but yeah, we mostly PlayStation is the big thing. And big news today, that slim PlayStation, but.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that weirdo thing.
Yeah, we will talk about that for sure Thursday.
I really want to see it in person because, like, I saw some comparison shots and it's like, oh, it might not actually be that much smaller.
Yeah, it's like 30% or something, they said.
Yeah, but I'm just like, in terms of, like, height. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. Definitely, I'm curious about it also. Quick, before we get into everything, check us out on patreon.com/easyallies. If you'd like to support us, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. Little icebreaker. This is from Noah Tuber. No question. Just want to issue a firm stand down to Dustin. Couldn't be happier to see my two favorite podcasts crossing over. So for you guys, stand down is kind of like a catchphrase that organically was born. It became kind of their love and respect.
Nice.
You started, I don't remember what the context was, but you told someone to stand down in a comment or something, and it just kind of lasted down.
Yeah, it was like there was like Kingdom Hearts fans that were either DMing Colin or Chris or something. And so I'm the Kingdom Hearts gatekeeper. And so I was like, the Kingdom Hearts fans, they got to stand down. We understand I have more allies here when it comes to Kingdom Hearts fandom with you guys.
That's true. Yes.
They can be a bit out there. So, you got to keep them at bay. But yeah, so that's but yeah, I love seeing this crossover too. Brad, we had you on Sacred Symbols Plus a few months ago.
Yeah, for Kingdom
Hearts. I
don't
know when that was. But about Kingdom Hearts. And so I'm love seeing this. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, thank you guys.
All right, Huber, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this
am
comment?
ready.
Paul Smith wrote in, question for Huber. What's going on with Shenmue 4? When do you believe it'll get announced? I hope we don't have another Shenmue 2 situation.
I feel like it's alive. Yu Suzuki just recently said he still wants to make it. I don't know if we will get a game, though. I could really see it ending in some kind of other format, like
A novel?
a graphic novel or something.
But you're okay with that, right?
I'm okay with anything at this point, absolutely. 3 was solid. It was okay. I like 1 and 2 more, obviously, but like the fact that we even got 3 was a gift. That was a win. We got the anime, even though we only got season 1.
Well, it covered 2 games at least.
Yeah. Dude, the anime was so sick. I'm so glad you watched that. But I think there's still hope. Ask me again in 10 years. It might change, but you ask me right now, and I absolutely have hope that we will see this story continue one way or another, for sure.
Dude, nothing ever really dies.
Yeah.
Ever. Even after Resurrected, anything is... Dude, they brought back Tomba this year. Anything's
Seriously.
possible.
100%.
Yeah, you do say that a lot, too.
Everything is possible. Yeah. Everything returns. The thing is, it's already returned and, like, kind of failed. Which is...
It keeps getting resurrected, like, by a necromancer.
Yeah.
Like, constantly.
Yeah. But I will always have faith that that fire will never be extinguished.
Yeah. Can't give up on Shenmue, dude.
No.
Gotta believe.
And you know, we talk about this all the time with like franchises coming back and stuff. Like, you know, Metal Gear was gone for so long, or Castlevania, and it's like you need a champion. You need somebody who wants to make that thing or bring that thing back. And as long as Yu Suzuki keeps saying that he wants to do it, then there's always going to be hope.
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of hope, I guess, I was hoping this lived up to your expectations. Assassin's Creed Mirage
Yeah.
is out. I've played like 2 hours of it, so barely anything. Damiani, you've been playing it. Hubert, you reviewed it. Talk to me about this video game.
Did you get to the title reveal?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Love that moment.
Yeah. I'm like back in Baghdad.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I am right where I want to be with Assassin's Creed Mirage. It 100% delivered on what they said it was going to be and what I imagined and wanted it to be. It's nothing more, nothing less than that. It is a scaled down, back to basics, stealth focused Assassin's Creed, and that's exactly what I wanted. This is a couple decades before Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so obviously way after Origins and Odyssey and them, but kind of wedged in between Valhalla. The original idea for this game was it was going to be an expansion for Valhalla, but it spun off into its own big thing. Obviously, Valhalla still had a ton of DLC, you know, basically 3 years worth of paid and unpaid DLC. But Mirage became its own thing, and now here we are. We play as Basim, who was a supporting character in Valhalla, and it's in Baghdad, which is a really awesome location.
Well, it sounds like they've done a great job with it. Like, I've seen a lot of praise for that. For
the authenticity
you know, a lot
of
the accuracy and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. Everyone is very pleased with that aspect of the game, no doubt. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just back to basics. It's scaled back. I mean, I beat this game in like, you know,
20 hours less?
sub 20 hours
That's nice.
to beat the whole game. Like, I did a lot of the side stuff. The way it handles side stuff's really cool. There's so you have your main missions, but then you have the contract missions, and basically it's like the contracts are like your side stuff, and those are just optional. So I did a lot of those. I didn't do every single one, but every time you do one, it like kind of leads into another one. So it kind of tells these like little side stories. Nothing super impactful, but like cool way to do side quests, you know, give them a little more context and stuff. But I just love the stealth focus, because that is what has been missing. That is what, you know, so many Assassin's Creed fans have longed for. You know, because I know a lot of Assassin's Creed fans still like the newer trilogy, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, but those are dramatically different, way more RPG based, way more just combat focused. Like, you aren't even technically assassins in those games, but this is definitely going back to its roots, which I really appreciate. And yeah, just the stealth. Like, the missions are heavily stealth focused. You know, you'll have to go into a location and kind of figure out how to progress. Like, all right, where is my target? Where is this thing I need to discover more about my target? You know, you have to sneak into places, and you know, Damiani and I, for a second before this, were talking about just the combat, and like, the combat is not great, and like, I don't know if it's ever been great in Assassin's Creed.
True.
No.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
That is very fair. Because I was like, when I was doing the combat, I was like, it doesn't feel great. And I'm like, but what was the old one? I was like, wasn't it just like timed hits? As long as you like hit at the right time, like a parry, you can just like keep being in rhythm and keep killing people nonstop, and you were like an unkillable machine. It was
But I also always like felt like I could never like, there was just like some weird like vagueness to it.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like, I'm not quite, like, I could be like 40 hours into like Black Flag or something. And I was like, I'm still not sure I quite get it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like rust to shake off, getting back into like the old swing of things. And I will say like the stealth part, they do give you good tools. Like Eagle Vision will not only like highlight nearby enemies, like you'll see like their cone of vision when you're close enough, which is really nice. And as you get those skill points, you can enhance like Inkindu, who is your eagle, who can do scouting, which is like a big part of like the big missions.
Yeah.
Like the first one, breaking into the Damascus prison.
Yeah.
Like that first like real mission, and like you use him to scout. Like you'll get abilities like see enemies faster, mark enemies faster, see their paths that they can take as well. And then combined with your eagle vision, like you really can like stake out stuff. And you've got like the whistle to distract people. You could toss stuff to distract people. So you can't play stealth, but I know you were asking about this, Brad. Like, I hope you can't just walk in and fight people. So early on, when I was still getting acclimated to the controls, I would botch so much stuff, and everyone would come out, and I would just fight them all and like deal with it. Like, it's literally just parry when they give you the parry flash, a yellow flash, or if it's red, you just like do the sidestep dash. And as long as you just like do that, if there's too many enemies, there's one part where you're supposed to like run away. You're not supposed to stay and fight, and I didn't see that, and I got owned because there's just like 20 guards around me. But for the most part, if it's like up to like 5-6 guards, you're fine. Like you can just like parry, kill. They do get stronger enemies though. Like there's an armor system, and so they do throw things in to counter that, where it's like your stamina will wear out before you can really keep abusing that. But at the same time, you have gear. You can like get better pieces of gear. You can go to blacksmiths and improve that gear. Like each has like I think 3 stages, or some have 4.
Okay,
3 total.
Okay, 3 total. And you have like your dagger, you have your sword, even your tools. You can enhance like your throwing knives, and some other things you get later. I gotta say something about real quick. I know we're talking about this before I forget. I knew it was Assassin's Creed game when I saw the jank in this game. There is jank
has
deluxe.
The best freaking bug of the week right here. So he knocks this guy off of the side of a building, and the guy falls. But when he like falls, he doesn't exactly hit the box or whatever that's beneath him. He just stays in a falling animation, flailing for a while. And then Damiani's watching him. He just like teleports back up and it's dead to the building, to the rooftop.
Dude. All right,
and then dies.
Yeah, there was some funny shit. So there are NPCs that you obviously can talk to, including like merchants, like the tailor, the blacksmith. We talked about just the regular merchant. So the game told me to go talk to a blacksmith, and you can get these schematics to like improve certain like gear or whatever, but also just pay to like enhance as well. So I go to the blacksmith, and there's no prompt to talk to them. I'm like, oh, do I have to wait till a certain time of day? Move on to the game, come to the next blacksmith. Same thing, won't talk to me. So I looked it up, first Reddit post, hit them with the sword. And I'm like, what? So I hit the blacksmith with the sword, they react, then they sit back down, and then the prompt comes up to talk with them. And I was like, wait, what? That can't be real. So these are the workarounds people are finding to some of these bugs right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't really encounter many.
That's the way it
bugs.
goes, man.
Yeah.
That was me with Jedi Survivor, dude.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really have as many bugs people did either. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
The brief 2 hours I played, I enjoyed, but it definitely feels like an old game. Totally old. I was like, this is a PS3 game. Like, it feels like one. Like, I guess that's fine. I guess if that's what you're into,
Oh my God, it's my warm blanket, Brad. It's
I
like
know.
my heavenly place is this franchise. Like, you know, all the Assassin's Creed fanatics out there, like, I see you, and I know you.
Yeah,
like,
we see you.
Yeah, like just the comfort food that is this franchise, and this one really just hit all the right notes for me, except for the story.
I was gonna ask you, dude, bro. I am this story, man. What's happening?
It's
man?
so bad.
When are they gonna end this?
Yeah, it's just filler. Like Bassam's cool, but it's just
okay.
Is his story bad, or is just the whole like the overarching?
His
stuff?
story's fine. His character is fine, but like.
Is this like the mask people storyline?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting worried that like it's this because this seemed to be like an expansion that's now been turned into its own thing. That the stakes aren't there for overall, but like Bussin's story is like good, but
Yeah.
everyone else, it's like the larger world building stuff is just not there.
Yeah, it's just same old, same old. You know, it's tough because it's like, where is this modern stuff gonna go? What's the deal with it? And it's like, should we expect it? Should we not? And like, I guess I was kind of expecting it because Valhalla and its DLC goes heavy.
Mm-hmm.
The heaviest the franchise has gone in years into that modern day stuff, into the Isu stuff, into the Blasphemous
Isu,
stuff.
yeah.
Like all of that coming off of Valhalla was like at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it's like, oh, we're going to play as Blasphemous. We're really going to get into this now. And it just like never really goes there. It just feels like the franchise is always kind of like spinning its wheels, kind of giving the fans just enough to get their, minds kind of just percolating. Like, oh, what's going to happen? And it's like, yeah, so I don't know. I guess this one kind of feels like a filler arc, honestly, story-wise.
I will say, though, as someone who's been on break from the series for almost a decade, coming into this, maybe this is part of it, is they're expecting a lot of newcomers to come back with this one.
Yeah.
Didn't feel overwhelming or overbearing.
Great
like, everything made pretty much sense. It was kept pretty simple.
Yep.
And even though I could tell, this is
Streamlined
probably
for sure.
stuff, they even, like, referenced, like, origins. I'm like, okay, they talked about that. I get what that is. Like, you get it. They kept it nice and kept that flow going.
Yeah.
So that might be a byproduct of we want to welcome people in again, newcomers, but we can't go too deep dive because if you missed the last 3 games, what the heck?
And I feel like that's the problem, is because they want to appeal to both sides, and it's like I feel like you're kind of hurting everyone at that point, It's like, how do you win in that situation? You either go all in on Isu, and then Damiani is like, what the hell are you even talking about? Or you don't do anything, and it's just kind of like a filler arc, which...
Well, to be fair, that's what I'm like in every Assassin's Creed game.
It's pretty Kingdom Heartsy for sure.
Honestly,
Dustin?
I was going to add, so Hubert, because this kind of connects. The main thing I was wondering is I was seeing that this game is like remnants of the DLC. Like, didn't it start as a DLC? So
yes.
That's one of the main criticisms that I've seen. I'm totally out of the Assassin's Creed game. I have been for a lot of years now, but I saw some things where people were like, oh, it's not reviewing as well, and it's exactly what people asked for. But a lot of people I saw were like, well, it kind of is a little bit halfway in certain areas, maybe the story or something, just because it's like, it kind of feels like an elaborate DLC in some ways. Is that what it felt like for you once you had fully completed it?
Yeah, it felt like a full game, but it also is like, okay, this definitely was like a huge DLC that got even bigger into its own game. It's tough because I reviewed Valhalla higher. I think Valhalla might technically be a better video game, but I also have a lot of problems with Valhalla, and I might like Mirage more. So it's like this weird, because it is exactly what I wanted and what a lot of people wanted, for better and worse.
maybe they just need to like make a separate series that is the style of old, like this type, like Mirage style, and diverge it from the storyline and make a new storyline so that it has the freedom to do new things.
They're not separating it. They're making the Nexus.
I know they're not. This is what I would recommend. This is what I would recommend, or find a clean entry point. But maybe that's even it, tying it to something that's already existing instead of making it a brand new point. Like, hey, it's some other new arc in the Assassin's Creed larger lore. We're gonna start a new arc here, and it's starting with this game, and we have a little bit more. It felt like they didn't have the freedoms that they needed to tell the type of story that maybe people were expecting, and that's why I think it left some people disappointed.
Or maybe
on that front.
because like Damiani, I've been out of it since Origins. Basically, I did the preview for Origins and Odyssey that I didn't get all the way through those games, But yeah, I feel like since the 3-4 events in the modern times, there hasn't been anything to anchor you in the modern times. They've just done all these weird things with Abstergo and all of this stuff.
Odyssey and Valhalla. It's funny; those are the ones you haven't. Odyssey and Valhalla really started to go back into that heavily.
Yeah, but I feel like kind of like where the series roots was is you were following one person in the modern day, and so it could work to have you're following this person across this set of games, and you're following a different person across another set of games. So you're getting their storylines through those through lines rather than the nebulous, like whatever Abstergo's doing and making an entertainment company and all this nonsense. Yeah,
it just weighs it down, because then I was saying, for better and worse, like for the better, like one of my favorite parts about this game was finding all of the history of Baghdad collectibles. Incredible, because they're like in front of the place, and then they give you the history about the thing you're looking at. There's like a police station or whatever.
Huh? Are these the Dervish collectibles or something else? Okay.
These are like, they look like animus fragments.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes.
Dude.
Okay, yes. I got one of those.
Oh, they're so good. It'll, you'll go in front of like a big building, and it'll be like, here's this building, and this is what it was like, in the 900s, 800s. Like, here's the whole history of this, this type of building. Like, it's just awesome stuff. And that's always been one of my favorite parts about Assassin's Creed. And like, I'm a super fan, so I love the modern day shit, but also it like kind of weighs some things down. Like, I love when that stuff hits. It just hits very rarely.
Yeah.
Did we get, or are we getting that like history app in the Assassin's Creed thing? You remember that like platform they're doing?
Isn't that's what we're talking about. Like they're working.
Is it out yet though, or no?
I don't think.
Oh, okay. No. I was always curious.
And usually they add Discovery Tour later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's usually later. Discovery Tour. Yep.
Like the Origins Discovery Tour, going to the pyramids and shit.
So speaking of going to places, like we talked about, like you were talking about how it felt like the going for an authentic feel, but like just the barriers not being so apparent of like where the walls are in the world. Like initially when I was on the outskirts of the round city, and it's like,
dude, getting in there is intense.
But outside it's like, oh, it's just desert. Am I really? There's some structure out there. Am I even gonna go there? And then like a few 30 minutes later, there's something over there. I'm like, wait, what? I could go all the way out into the desert and go to this like giant rock structure.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's a sync point up there, and I'm like, how do I get up there?
I love.
And then when I got up there, what the funny part is, I found a well thing that went down first. I think you probably went in it it's like a cave, and I'm like, what's down here first? And I did all that, but then when I went up, that was the leap of faith, was to go down there. I went back down there. But that cave was sick. I was like, why am I in this cave? It's like optional, and there was like the whole thing where you could like move, like the move block puzzle, and then like the explosive, the destructible walls. I was like, okay, and like there was like a piece of gear, like the dagger, the
streamlined gear. There's so much less gear. There's so many less
very
skill
nice
points.
to not have to worry about a lot of like systems for this game.
Yeah,
they kept it simple.
And like the heavy armor guys, I think really help with like wanting to go in guns blazing, because it just becomes annoying. Like, sure, you can like kill everyone in a straight up fight, but like sneaking in undetected is A, way more fun, and B, a lot more convenient, because then like all hell breaks loose. You gotta stand there and fight everyone. Like the armor guys might come in and kill you, desync, start over, or like run, go hide, like reduce your wanted level. Like all that shit is so annoying, so it really encourages you to just sneak in, stay stealthy. And I love it.
I liked how the guys, even stealth kill doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
Like they just get some damage. So there's some people you can't just like one shot, which is nice. But also, there was an armored dude that I got behind him and did it, and maybe it was a bug then.
Dude, I have one shot of like.
I snuck up and it did the animation, and it only did like half health, and then he was like, I was like, yo, what the hell? Like, and then another one of the big, it was like the captain dude or whatever.
It was in conflicting reports here.
Yeah.
Maybe have some shenanigans happening.
Fact check there. Well, I was one shot in everyone.
But the next point I was going to make is still true. Even guns blazing, because like some of these environments force you into like really strict bottlenecks. Like the prison early on taught me, you're like in jail cells, close quarters, like there aren't a lot of escape routes. You've got to be careful. If you get caught in there, it's like they just surround you, and like you don't have a lot of, like you can't even just like run out. It's like they're just going to swarm you. Yeah.
Huber, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's see how you feel about this.
Okay.
James Davey wrote, Assassin's Creed Mirage is released with bugs and a sterile open world containing uninteresting characters and unexciting quests.
Here we go.
This isn't the Herald return to form many are touting it as. It's been stripped mined of the essence of previous Assassin's Creed games despite a heightened sense of danger. Do you agree or disagree?
I think I disagree with everything except the characters.
Okay.
The characters are fine.
Unexciting quests?
I like the quests a lot, especially the main missions. I think the main missions are sick as hell because you're like going in, trying to find clues. Again, that's what I've been wanting for so
I mean, even the stuff I saw in your preview was really it was interesting.
Like one of my favorite, dude, the like bazaar or whatever, going in there and like doing missions for your buddy and like eavesdropping on conversations, going into the auction and like trying to get this thing to like go into the secret area. Like
that sounds interesting.
It's a cool scenario.
That sounds way more interesting than when it has been.
Yeah, like coming off of Valhalla, dude, where everything is just like, hey, go fight these like English people, or like go fight, you know, the druids, or like whatever the hell it was. Non-stop in Valhalla. I can't even like remember so many of those quests because they all just blended together. Whereas these assassination targets felt impactful. For me at least. I mean, the side quests. The side stuff, like, I don't know, I'm getting like mafia criticism vibes from this comment too, where it's like...
I mean, what Damiani was just talking about sounded great too,
I mean, let me get the thing, it was improving as I was going along, and I have still not have finished it, but there have definitely been a lot of moments where I'm just like, am I just like looking through rose-tinted glasses about how I remember old Assassin's Creed? Because maybe this isn't as good as I remember it. Maybe we have moved on from this, and there isn't really a viable path. Like I see the potential here, and like I saw what you gave the game, and I'm like, I do think this like there needs to be more work done. It feels like a half measure. It feels like it's halfway between the old and the new, and that's not quite where I think a lot of people wanted it to land. I think they either wanted to see a reinvention of the old and be like that style, but like modernize a bit better, or maybe you just need to do something with the current, like the mainline series right now, and like add more revisions and changes that to massage that. I don't know what the answer is, but this, like, this was definitely had moments where I'm like, I don't know about this. I was like, streaming, and I was like, yikes.
Yeah. Well, Huber, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you is just that we saw Assassin's Creed move into kind of like this maximal 70, 80, whatever, how many dozens of hours this game is.
92
and now we
for Valhalla.
So you said the warm blanket of this much shorter, what you would think would be more refined, but maybe not in other ways. So the next one the Japan one, right?
Should be,
I think so.
Red.
Yeah. So what is the
Red.
path forward then if it's like, okay, well, maybe going too far back wasn't quite the right move, but maybe also to not take it to 11 like we did on Valhalla, where it's like even people who love that game, I've always heard, is like, it's a little too long.
Just finding that balance. I mean, I would look to Ghost of Tsushima, honestly. I would look to that game because that is a 10 out of 10 game in my mind. Love that game so damn much. A little too many foxes. A little bloat here and there. You can trim the fat on. But I think if they focused on, like, Assassin's Creed gets the worlds right and the time periods right. You focus on that. You focus on the characters. You don't make it too big, and you make your side quests matter. I think that's so big, especially in today's day and age, where like people aren't here for filler side content anymore. Right. Like, we want impactful, meaningful side quests. Like, less is more today. So you have your main missions, and then you just don't go overboard with your collectibles and your sync points and your dots on the map to do a million things. Like, you just make sure that stuff doesn't get bloated.
The only thing I'll counter to like meaningful side quests are always good, but if you make them like too few and too meaningful, I ask this to developers a lot. Why not just make them part of the main story and required? Because if they're optional and people miss them and you put that much effort into them, like, isn't that kind of like a waste at that point? Like, I think that's kind of the nature of side quests, is that I think sometimes they have to like go a little bit in that direction if they're optional.
I think most people still do the side stuff is the thing. I think gamers like engage with that stuff, and it's just like psychologically fun to do an optional thing and get rewarded for it in a video game. It's very just like, you feel, it feels like a little bit more special than a main mission sometimes, because you're like, oh, this is optional. Like, maybe not everyone's done this, when really, like, pretty much everyone's doing a lot of the side missions. Like,
Yeah, because in Ghost of Tsushima Damiani, it was like a lot of some of the side quests were like for a character specifically, so
Yeah,
you
I
get like the
remember.
extra context. I forgot her name, but like the grandmother and her two sons and all
God,
that
that
stuff.
was sad.
And you're getting all of that kind of extra
Yeah.
stuff. And there's more like lower tier normal side quests. You know, you're just out there to find someone who needs help. But I think having like maybe different tiers of side quests can get people into it.
because like there's been some criticism out there, but they're my favorite of the year, hands down, is Final Fantasy 16 side quests.
Because the end ones are really good. Or
I
think
know
the
they're
payoff's good.
I know they're divisive, but like that is what I want because it is giving meaningful insight into the towns, the world, and the characters. Like you come away with from those side quests having such a better understanding of who people are and what the places are and everything about the world of that game. Like okay, the tasks you do might not be the best, but like
Yeah,
You're
I think the
still
narrative
getting
payoff's
rewarded.
good, but
Yeah. So.
Dustin,
And I can't really speak to the bugs in that question.
Oh,
as well,
sure,
'cause I
yeah.
didn't really, but
you're hard out on this game, right? You have no interest.
It is more intriguing to me how short it is, for sure,
Yeah.
because both, Valhalla and, the two before that as well were just kind of not really in my lane. And like I've been out of Assassin's Creed for so long. The last one I played was Black Flag, maybe. I think so.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while, but I really respect this that there was like this specific call from fans like, hey, we want this type of game. And Ubisoft delivered on that. And so I'm out, especially dude right now with how many games there are. It's just like you gotta pick and choose. But I have a third question for you, Hubert.
Oh,
and you
go
probably
ahead.
covered this in the review. I didn't see it, but what's the performance like? That's it's
performance
essential.
was fine for me. Yeah,
Yeah, it
It's a
seemed pretty
cross-gen,
good.
so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
everything ran.
It looked really sharp too. That's something that stuck out to me when we first saw it.
and I always rock performance.
Like the
mode.
models look like older models,
Yeah.
always, but it runs nice.
Yeah.
It looks pretty dang good.
And they're doing.
so-
I mean, when you're loading in, you see the pop in and stuff. Like it does. Like when you do fast travel, it's pretty pronounced. Like they do like the kind of like the edge like misty dissolve effect, so like things kind of like fade in a little bit like
Yeah.
slowly. But even like after a cutscene, sometimes you'll see like the like an epic game, like when it's loading in the textures still. It's like
Brass or
it's
something.
definitely doing that a few times, but like no like performance dips or anything like that because there is the performance mode as well. So when you're playing in that, like it'd be really crazy if it didn't run smoothly
it ran
for being a
smoothly when I
cross-gen
played it,
game.
so-
Yeah.
especially it like it's its own game, so it's not like pointing fingers at other games, but like there's been a lot of games that have released this year that have had
Yeah.
a lot of problems. So I'm pretty damn happy with the way this thing is running. I would definitely not call this a bug-ridden mess. That would be like Jedi Survivor
Yeah.
or
I will
I
say
forget what else came out this year, but I know this has been a trend.
the loading times felt a little long for fast travel. I will say that.
not that first party load time.
Yeah, we've been a little spoiled, so
Demon's
yeah.
All right.
I also really liked climbing in this game, just like
Oh,
like
yeah.
Damiani was saying,
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
figure- it was like puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Not fully puzzle based, like friggin' AC2 and Brotherhood and Revelations, where you're legitimately like, okay, how do I get up this? But
were
like there
those
are
things?
still moments
Dude, the
where it's like, okay,
cathedral.
I gotta go
Yeah,
down.
the cathedral.
Yeah.
Yes.
In AC2,
Yep.
I was starting the series, that fucking cathedral. I was like, do I want to commit to this? And I got through it. But I always think of that cathedral, dude.
Oh, yes.
I remember in one of the, because it pissed me off in 2, you needed like the extra leap to do one, and I remember in the beginning of the game you don't have it.
Oh, it's like an upgrade.
yeah,
that's
got it.
funny.
Wait, I can climb that. But
All right.
And shout out to this game even being made, because I don't know if anyone remembers not even many years ago, when Eves was asked directly, will you make your game smaller, please? No, we have no intention of doing that. We have no desire. We love big games here, big, big, big. Everyone was so mad, and he's like, no, we're not going to make them smaller. And they buckled. They finally did.
I do like that this game's $50 also.
Yeah.
It's a little cheaper, a little more budget, which I think is
definitely.
very appropriate and very
Yeah,
nice.
$20 less. Dude, that's
Yeah.
big.
All right, let's talk about the next game. I have been playing. I'm working on the review for Lords of the Fallen.
Nice. Here we go.
Everyone here likes Souls-likes. Everybody here, I know it. So, I'll say this. As someone who reviewed Lies of P, which we'll talk about also later, Lies of P is Bloodborne, Lords of the Fallen is Dark Souls 3. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
It's good. I like it. I'm having a really good time playing through this game. I think it's super fun. I think it looks really good. I think this is an Unreal Engine 5 game or... Not 100% sure, but it looks really good. Like I'm playing on PC right now, and some of the cities I'm just like, damn, like staring at the architecture and stuff. It's all there's like a lot of gothic kind of stuff. You know? Everything's dead, dude. There's bodies everywhere.
That's definitely a way where like people can try and like, one up FromSoft. Like they make good looking games, but you can make them better looking.
The preview when I talked to the director, he was just like, "Yo, it's no secret. We love Dark Souls here. He's like, it's my favorite game. It's like
this game.
Yeah, it's like they just
Bluepoint made
love
a better. Bluepoint made a better FromSoft game from a technical perspective in almost every way than From Software ever.
Yes, that is very true. But yeah, Huber, you played some of this. You did the preview, dude. You enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah, it's a big step up from the original. That's
I didn't play the original because everyone kind of just told me, it's like,
it's fine.
But I think, like, I'm playing this, I'm like, oh, you like Souls games? Like, yeah, I'd recommend this. However, I am playing on the PC version. I've not dabbled on, like, the PS5 version. The PC version has performance issues. Big time in some areas.
PC,
we're talking stutter, frame drops. Like, I'm in some areas are worse than others, it felt like, but I was, like, fighting guys, and it's, like, not performing good when I'm like fighting stuff.
You don't want that. But it is, that's the one thing. Like, I'm not a big fan of like trying to review stuff on PC because it's like just how many of these issues are like issues that like some dude on a Reddit thread is like, oh yeah, just turn off this thing and that thing and then put something in any file and it works perfectly. I'm like, thanks.
And it's like they're patching the game pretty frequently when I'm playing it still too, so I don't know what it's gonna be like when it's fully out, but like it's running better as it has continued to patch for me, which has been nice, but like just from what I've played most recently, it's still got some problems. Right?
Got it.
No. I think some people are gonna have some problems with this, kind of like the stutter and a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But if the stutter's still there, then definitely. That's also one of those things that like gets thrown in the day one patch and like hope it works.
I'm really curious to see how the day one patch will be. But
that is a UE5 game, Brad. I looked it up real quick, and that I've seen a lot of these UE5 games on PC. It's a newer engine still, but it's just
the
like
shader compilation
brutal. Even if you have a nice PC, like Brad, you have a 3080, right?
I do, yeah.
So not that it's just it's not just your graphics card, but still like you should be set and it shouldn't be stuttering. But there could be still a thing where it's like it needs a NVIDIA driver or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't think there's anything for me on that front. So but things
I don't
change.
See that very often. Like I think I saw like early drivers for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But most games you don't get special drivers in advance. So when you do, it is like that's kind of a weird thing too.
If you're on PC, just be aware that it could be different for you. I don't know, but that's just what I'm experiencing.
Actually, even at the preview event, we were playing on PCs, and one of the bosses got stuck out of bounds. And it was a bummer because I was like rocking it, dude. I was like, I died a couple times, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna beat it this time. And then they like teleported up to the rafters. I was like, I
haven't had anything like that. The only thing I've kind of had like bug wise is like what happened to Damiani is like some enemies getting stuck and like floating or something like that. But you just kill them. It's
just
not
roll
that
with
big of a
it.
deal.
Yeah.
But got all the basics, heavy armor, different builds, magic, faith. There's like a pyromancy class blood. It's just like a pyromancer 100%. And I was like,
that's blood.
Blood's
like
class.
the magic class user.
They label it as like there's like basic ones and there's like more advanced ones, I guess. I just picked like knight and I'm doing all strength build. I have 60 strength or something right now.
Do weapons have requirements? Stat requirements?
Oh yeah. And weapons have like move sets, like you get basic attack, heavy attack, but there's also if you push like L1 and R2, depending on your weapon, it'll do different attacks. Like some are like combos, like 2 hits.
Sweet.
But the axe I'm using is he does like a jump attack and it like slams down like enemies like the Kirk hammer. It's really sick.
Music to my ears, bro.
Also, what's unique about this game too is like it has like these 2 realms you switch between.
Fuck, man, I just want to use a Kirk hammer.
Yeah, Kirk hammer, man.
It's been
there's some cool hammers in this. Not a Kirk hammer, but there's some cool hammers.
It's been years.
But yeah, there's this realm. It's like a spirit realm, I guess, or like the realm of the dead. You switch between two in the game. So if you're playing normally, and you can switch between this realm on the fly. You just like hold up you have like this little lamp you have with you the whole game, and it can show you the other realm. Because sometimes there's obstacles in the way. So you'll need to like go in the other realm to be able to pass through it. Like, let's say there's a wall, and if you look at it in the other realm, you can see you can walk through it.
Dude, it's like
But to go into it, you have to like remove some of your health, right?
So what it is like
there's some risk versus reward shit.
What it
It's
is
sick. It's so sick.
So with the lamp, there's some things you don't need to go into the realm with. So you can, like, if you see a path that's only in that other realm, you can hold up your lamp and walk across it. But you're gonna be walking slower, so you'll be a little more vulnerable. And like, let's say you're holding the lamp, you're looking at the other realm. There's other enemies in that realm sometimes, and they can kind of pull you into it if you're not careful.
That's sick.
That's great.
All right, that's pretty cool.
When you do go in the other realm, yes, you lose some health, but you can get it back by hitting enemies.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind.
Is it like?
And then how do you get out of it though?
There's like very specific like effigy things you go up to.
Yeah.
You have to find.
My question about the health. Sorry, do you just like temporarily lose like health bars, like permanent health bars?
So it's like your health doesn't go down like normally, like Demon Souls did. It's just like half your health's gone, but you can get it back up.
Okay, could you like use like a
you can use a healing item, yeah, or you can like hit an enemy. So you'll see like a white part on your health bar. That means you can get health back.
So, okay, I didn't understand if it's like permanent or like Tears of the Kingdom. No,
it's not like that. You can get your health back. Yeah, you don't lose permanent health like that. So a lot of it's pretty cool. Is like going through these environments and just navigating. Like, this game is very dense and with like a lot of ways to go. And I've been playing through this game for like the past 4 or 5 days, and I'm just like, where was that again? I'm like thinking about that. Where was that again? Like it was on this cave wall, but there's like 10 cave walls here. So I've just been like kind of thinking about all that stuff. It's been really fun.
With the umbral stuff though, so you're talking about the lamp, and you can kind of go over.
Umbral, dude. I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah,
Umbral.
But isn't there something too to where like, do you like end up there when you get killed or whatever?
So when if you are in like your base form, you will die and you'll be in that realm. So you have like a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice kind of thing. But if you die in there, it's like you're done kind of thing. Like that. But if you find one of those effigies though out in the world, you can come back and get like your life back essentially. But yeah, there will be times where you have to go into the spirit world and lose like that life.
Does that go to the spirit world work on like boss fights or
yes?
Okay.
Yeah, it does with all that stuff. Also with the umbral lamp, there's this mechanic where you can like pull out an enemy soul, and like their souls out, and they're like kind of in slow motion, so you can get some damage in real quick and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's not super long, but you can get a few hits in there depending on what weapon you're doing. And you have like charges with that, so you can't constantly do it. But yeah, going through the world's been really fun with me just figuring out, where am I going to use the lamp? Where should I look at? Like, I'm me kind of just like, this area looks kind of suspicious. I'm just holding it up and looking around. Like, oh, there's something. But if I'm not careful, you can like see some enemies that are only in that realm. There's like these Grim Reaper guys that are only in that realm, and they hit you while you're looking around. You're like in there. Also, when you're in the realm, there's like a danger factor because there's like a little meter that builds up as you're in there.
Okay.
And guys like will spawn constantly in this realm and attack you. They will spawn like these weird freako kind of guys. They will almost like too annoying where I'm just like, God, go away, like piss off kind of thing. And like there's like so many dudes sometimes. And this meter, as the meter goes up, more hard enemies will spawn until eventually it goes all the way through. Then there's like a red Grim Reaper that comes, dude. He's like Nemesis, dude, and he will like just one-shot you.
Fuck, dude,
you gotta find like a bonfire thing, or you gotta find one of those effigy things to get out of there.
I remember really liking the mini bonfire mechanic.
Yeah,
like
so let me explain
beds.
that. Yeah,
I
so
love that.
There's,
shit. I remember a bitter YouTube comment was telling me to calm down about that.
What? You thought it was cool?
I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. So what it is there's normal like big checkpoint bonfires. There's normal ones like that. But however, as you go throughout the game, there are little spots where you can put down like your own little bonfire. It's temporary only.
Finite resource.
It's one temporary thing. You can buy the resource, you can buy it, but it costs money.
Okay.
But you need to have these if you want to set up like a bonfire somewhere. But you can only have one set up at a time. So if you set one up somewhere, then you put one down later. The other one's gone.
Got it.
So you got to just make a mental note because like some of these areas you go through, you're like, do I want to put one down here or do I want to try to push a little further, kind of thing like that.
Sick.
Because this game gets rough.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. Not from a boss perspective. The bosses has been pretty damn chill.
Okay.
I'm talking trash mobs, dude.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
I'm
different
wearing like
vibes,
the
yeah.
heaviest armor in the game, dude. And I was getting like 2-shot by guys.
Whoa.
I have died so much in this game. There was like platforming, dude. I'm just dead.
You die more in this than pre-patch Lies of P? Because I know Lies of P patched and made it easier. They made it 100%. They made it easier.
I didn't
Fairly, it's
die
fairly
so
easier.
much.
all the way around. Though,
I mean, I
from top to
died a
bottom.
lot in Lies of P, but I feel like Lies of P, I died the most at bosses.
Yeah.
Like Lies of P was much more me doing runbacks, solo
Yeah.
through runbacks, so like me getting like the Puppet King, Dustin, and stuff like that. I died on that guy like a while, dude, stuff like that. But the bosses have been pretty chill for me. Maybe it's just because my build, I'm literally doing charge R2s like on everybody, dude, like stuff like that. So it's been kind of cool. But lots of spells, lots of NPCs that talk to you. There's like a hub base you go back to and you talk to these characters. There's one that like upgrades your Estus flask and stuff like that. There's one guy that's only in the spirit realm, so you have to like go in there every time you talk to him. Like he's like some weird cloaked shadow guy and all that stuff. You can give them like boss souls or whatever to get all that good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really sick. I'm having a really fun time playing it. It's been cool playing this kind of. I played Lies of P very recently, and they're very different games to me, and I think they're both super fun. I like them
So
both the same.
sick.
The only problem is right now is just the performance. It's
Yeah.
like, it needs to be better.
How
Yeah.
sick is that, dude? FromSoft takes a year off from the Soulsborns,
Yeah.
and then we get Lies of P and Lords of the Fallen to help us out.
They're finally catching up and perfecting like
Yeah.
the old FromSoft.
Yeah. When the FromSoft comes back, it's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, they haven't caught up to the open world one yet, and FromSoft come back with something new.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, like the art style in this.
Yeah,
is
it looks great.
It's
Yeah.
like a painting come to life.
Yeah, it looks really good. There's also
And
like
the consoles could be more stable too.
Yeah, I
Sure.
haven't really messed with the PS5 version to be fair, so I don't really know. There's PvP invasions. I got invaded a couple times.
Oh.
I got killed once, and I fucked some guy up one time. I did the spam block thing on his corpse, dude. I have it on video, dude. We'll put that in the video.
Oh my god.
There's co-op also. I think you can play like the entire game co-op
Right.
pretty easily.
Yeah, they
I
said
haven't
that.
done it yet. We'll have to do that,
Soul
Mike.
Yes,
But you
yes.
to me, it just looks like you go to a checkpoint and you summon your friend or whatever.
Tight.
I'm curious if you kill a boss, if it'll save it for the other
Yeah,
person.
there's so many
we need to
questions
test
there.
that kind
So
of
many
stuff to
questions.
see
level scaling,
what it's like.
Dead
yeah.
Island 2 though did a good job of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
sick.
But yeah, it feels like a very I guess from the first game, this seems like a massive improvement. Like I'm having a lot of fun
yeah.
playing this. Like I can't wait
Yeah,
to play more.
It felt way different, looked
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like I'm 25 hours in. I'm not done yet.
Nice.
I still got stuff to do. So there's all those fun side quests. Obtuse kind of things. You're like figuring out stuff. You're putting pieces together. Sometimes you get like maps. Like you'll pick up a map and it'll show you some stuff like in the zone, like pictures of like maybe little hints and stuff like that to go for. But yeah, it's been really good. I'm having a really good time. I think it's
yeah.
super fun.
Sick.
Yeah.
Brad, in terms of the big thing with Souls likes for me, because I think you and I are somewhat on the same page that so far at least we agree that there are some good ones out there, but no one has really gotten
No.
it quite right.
No,
And now
except
with,
from
you know,
software.
we have Lies of P and we have this game too. How do you feel is like my main complaint always with games like this is that, and I don't know if I'm just mentally stuck up in my brain or if there's something very specific about From Software game feel that it's just the mix of like animation, how enemies read to you, how long you have to block, how long your attacks take. How would you say Lords of the Fallen compares to, you said it's closest to Dark Souls 3 in terms of like moment to moment game feel, because that's something
Just
when we
feel,
talk about
yeah.
Lies of P, that's where it's a little
Yeah.
weird to me.
I mean, I don't think anyone's as good as From Software on feel, like combat feel or anything feel. I don't think anyone's that level. This game is much like for
Dolman. No, just kidding.
yeah, for the build I'm using too. I'm a very slow, heavy build, so encounters are kind of slow. Like the bosses aren't as crazy fast as some of the other stuff. I feel like if you're intimidated by some really insane like if Melania, like I haven't fought anything as crazy or with like an insane moveset like that. Nothing is quite on that From Software level of like bosses design and all that stuff, but they are still really solid and fun. I think, Dustin, the thing is with, I never expect anyone to go to that level except From Software.
Shout out to the Surge.
The Surge is, like, these games are cool, and I like them. I think they're very good games.
They're not on the level.
But they're not the level From Software,
of course,
is what I'm saying. But I'm okay with that.
I'm always trying to figure out anytime I play a Souls-like game, and this is, it's tough because we all play games constantly. We play all different kinds of games, and usually you can clue in, like, this is better because of this and this, or like specifically when it comes to game feel. But I have never been able to figure out, like, okay, well, what makes From Software games feel better than these other games that also feel really good, but there's something, and I don't know if it's just like a mix, like I said, of all these different elements. Yeah, they've got, dude, Miyazaki, he's cooking over there. He's doing something.
Yeah, it's like when you think about
hidden.
You think about, like, if you're playing a first-person game on a controller, it's like you think of like Bungie as being one of the best, like for shooting.
Right.
A shooting game with a controller, you're just like, I don't know how they do it. They just make it feel so good compared to some other devs where I'm like struggling.
Modern Warfare usually too.
Yeah. I mean, Call of Duty is pretty damn high too. But I'm saying, like those high caliber games compared to many others aren't as like, it just doesn't feel as good. They got that special sauce or whatever it is.
Totally.
But yes, Forza Fallen is cool.
Do we want the buffer, or do we want to go straight to Liza P from that? Because we're kind of in the same space.
I guess we could do Liza P. Yeah, what were you going to say, though, Dustin?
Oh, yeah, so I was curious. I guess you kind of covered it. I was thinking about the multiplayer aspect. If you can just seamlessly play the game with your friend, that's amazing. And that's something, dude, it's funny. We were talking, so I was just talking so highly of From Software, but it's like, dude, I know you love your cryptic shit and like you got to have the currency to spawn someone in and all this stuff, but it's like enough. Like we've done that for so many years now.
I agree. Because it's been so long, Like I remember Brad and I, like back in the day when it was a novelty, it was fucking awesome. Like whenever we would summon each other in Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1, it felt like this special holy shit moment where it's like, dude, we're in this together, let's go. And then now it's like I think of Dark Souls 3, Damiani and I like co-oping through that game was just like so many hoops, so many barriers.
Having to go back and forth each to do the same thing twice.
The special novelty factor of it is fully gone. Like just give us the option.
That's what I feel about like invasions in a lot of games. I'm just like, this isn't anything special to me anymore. It's like just kind of par for the course. Like I don't get excited about that. Like when we got invasions, I'm just like, all right, cool.
Sure.
But I think it's so interesting they kept they kept the Lords of the Fallen name, which I think was, I wonder if it's just they think that most people have forgotten about that game or something.
It was a long time ago.
I feel like that name has stink on it from that first game where it's like, oh, it was before we had all of these other Souls-like games, so it felt very much in the imitator camp. And then it wasn't that great, but now, I guess it's a new era now of Souls-likes. So I guess that makes sense. But I'm excited to hear it's good, though. I want to check it out. Doing Liza P in that game back-to-back might drive me insane.
Might be a little much,
so, a little break.
I always got to give a shout-out to, Brad.
Huh?
Every time I got to give a shout-out to.
What?
Thymesia,
yeah.
God, I love that game.
Yeah, it was cool.
Friggin', like... bargain bin Souls like.
Yeah, it was. It was like a cool bargain bin Souls like. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool.
All right, Dustin, let's talk Liza P. You just completed it.
Yeah, and I put in like the first 5 or 6 hours last
let's
night.
play.
So I'm fresh on it right now. Yeah.
Oh, this is the number one game I want to play in a year of too many games.
Dude, here's the thing, Brad. You said I've completed it, and this is what's driving me insane right now. No spoilers, of course, as always, but there's a technically optional last boss.
True ending? Love true endings.
It's very... Dude, it's so close to the way Bloodborne and the way there are multiple... Like, there's sort of a bad ending. There's a average. And then there's, hey, do all this other cryptic,
Dude, Dustin, every
kind of
time...
difficult stuff.
I always
Yeah.
get the bad ending in these damn games, because I'm not looking shit up, and then I'm like, oh,
okay.
I didn't get this item in a secret place and give it to this character also in a secret place. I guess I don't get the good ending. It's like, what?
Dude, that's exactly. Well, I don't know. I have to look into like the true ending for this game, but I beat it on either Friday or Saturday night or Sunday. No, Sunday night. And then I spent probably like 5 hours yesterday trying to fight this optional boss, going and leveling up, trying again. And it's post patch, which he's supposed to be way easier now. And at the end of the day, I was sitting there and I thought, man, I could have had like 5 or 6 hours sunk into a different game. My ROI on this is so low at this point. I gotta move on. But anyway, yeah, Lies of P. I didn't really know what to expect about this. I told you guys earlier, I have tried out some of these Souls-like games, but they've never stuck for me. Probably the one that I liked the most that I did not finish was Neo before this. And so this game in particular that really intrigued me in that the art direction is amazing. You know, it's like Bloodborne meets BioShock Infinite in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And just, dude, the whole Pinocchio aspect of it is right off the bat.
Completely
Yeah,
bizarre.
it's insane.
Waiting for Sora
Yeah.
to pop up somewhere.
But that's actually
Right.
one of the things that, like, you know, booting it up last night, like, I was actually really surprised and impressed by, like, just how clean and it looks and runs on Xbox Series X, and just like that it feels like a high budget game. You know, and it's like, like Bloodborne, that was like a generation ago, and it's like, and you just like have the comparison. It's like, man, yeah, we haven't seen anything quite in this style.
Yeah.
And then just, the bodies and stuff everywhere, and like you're saying, like the lore is actually interesting, and like trying to figure out what the crap's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I played that game, and I was like, oh, yeah, they really like Bloodborne when I was playing that game. Like, from every angle.
Yeah. Well, dude, Brad, that's going through it. If you've played Bloodborne a lot or any From Software games, you start to get this sixth sense that's like you're going through a level and you're like, okay, so there's probably going to be a shortcut right about here, and then you like immediately find it. Like it follows these beats like to a T, but it doesn't necessarily. It has new things to bring to the table. Some things that I really like too, such as there's the weapon system where you can change the handles on different weapons. So there's like a different like creative element that brings to the table.
I've been trying. I've still just pretty early on, so I just got a few starting weapons. So I'm trying to figure out whether there's like a combination that's not default that I would like more.
Sure.
But I mean, I got an electric mace, Brad. So I'm like, okay,
nitrous.
It's like
I'm good to go now.
It's like a baton thing. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. It's the thing that I think is the most interesting, because I was just saying about how, and this sounds like a bad thing, but it really does copy the format to a T. But where it really does its own thing is specifically in the combat, because if you think about, you know, Dark Souls is like a mix of dodge and block. And then you have Bloodborne, which is totally focused on dodging. And then you have Sekiro, which is all about the parry. And so Lies of P says, let's do all of that at once. And I think hearing people beforehand talk about this game, they're like, oh, it's Pinocchio Bloodborne. That's true, but I think it's this hybrid of everything that has been in From Software games and their combat styles. And I think that the way they do it is really interesting, but it doesn't exactly land for me always. And but I'll ask you this specifically. How are you feeling about the block mechanic? Because even at the end of the game right now, where I can block and do the perfect parry pretty consistently, it does not feel quite right to me. And I haven't been able to figure out why.
There's definitely like a sort of like a little bit of a stiffness to it, but that is the thing that, like, because I just did the second boss, which I would kind of consider being like the first boss, because the parade guy is not much of a challenge.
Who did we fight in the? Did we play the demo or the full?
That's the real game.
That was the real game.
What boss number was that?
That was the parade master or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He's just But the after him, there's this
Bobby.
police officer guy. I forget what it's called.
Some We Happy Few shit.
Craft Watchman. Yeah. He's like the first real freaking boss.
God.
And the way that he comes at you and you're just like blocking those swing, hold, swing, like that to me just felt very, very Sekiro. Like that is 100% that kind of like just having to learn like all of those different chains of things. And then, yeah, Brad, you made fun of how, like, people, like, have these second phases all the time. It's like, okay, electricity now.
Dude,
it's like the
whole
same
game,
exact, but now watch
it's
out for
so
the electrical
annoying, man.
poles. Yeah.
They're like, oh, surprise,
Yeah.
second phase. I'm like, it's a surprise if there's not a second phase at this point.
Yeah.
It's
that
dude,
in
it
the
gets
Hollow
kind of
Knight
egregious at the end, where you just expect it. The 2-phase.
Yeah, it's too
There
much.
is no dude. Speaking of Sekiro, there's no 3-phase boss though. I was kind of expecting that for the final if we were gonna get a
Only
a
From does
Sekiro
that.
like
Yeah, 3-phase,
Yeah.
baby.
dude,
Hesitation
one
is
of the best boss
defeat.
fights ever.
Yeah, Ishin Sword.
Sword Saint, right?
Yeah.
Sword Saint,
Sword
dude.
Saint,
Brad's
10
favorite
out of
boss
10.
of all time.
Yeah, it is mine. Yeah,
Dude, that's
Yeah,
probably my
the-
favorite FromSoft boss.
yeah.
But
It's
The-
probably the best boss fight of all time.
The regular boss
Yeah.
where you can rally back is nice.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dudes, at least at the beginning, they do seem to take a pretty solid chunk of health out of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not as much as
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen, though, blood. I'll tell you that. I am pumping HP, dude, in that game.
yeah. So
Good
It's-
exploration
I
in
think
Lies of
it-
P, folks. Is it
Yeah,
good
well,
exploration?
Yeah, like, well, I've come across like a couple of little side things.
Nice.
You know, kind of like again like Bloodborne. There's like
Yeah.
people in the windows and like do some little things for
Find
them.
some lady behind some boxes or something. Okay.
talk to a lady through a window.
Yeah,
You know,
a lot
who's
of
hanging
that.
out trying to stay safe from the puppet frenzy.
Yeah.
Who's
Classic.
looking for her baby,
Yeah.
something like that.
And there's a
Classic.
sickness as well. You know,
Okay.
that they're dealing with.
Some dragon rot shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
The Bloodborne curse.
And then I just
writing.
got a call from the Riddler.
Yeah, there's a Riddler. There's a Riddler.
The Riddler is here. It's 100%.
Hello, Batman.
Yeah, this guy, he talks, he like calls you on the phone and he goes, hey, puppet boy, or some shit like that. What?
Yeah.
He
Where
like
do
just
you
gives you a
find
riddle.
my trophies?
Yeah. It's so weird.
And he asks you, like, you have a timer. It's like a freaking Telltale game where you have a timer going down. It's like, what's the answer to the riddle? And
Yeah.
I'm like, that one. I don't know why it would be that one, but I'm going to go with the one on the left because
Well, dude, it goes further than that too.
I'm sure.
It's less so. I think at the beginning it kind of picks up as it goes, but there's this lying mechanic where you have to decide to tell the truth or lie. And then after you decide one, they'll be like, your gears are grinding. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
says.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Your
something.
gears are like reacting. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what one of the side quests here, this is like was really cool, is I got a record from the side quest, and it said something about like listening to this will like increase your humanity or something. And I thought it was just like flavor text. And after I sat there and listened to the whole song on the gramophone, and it's like a unique song. It's not just a soundtrack song.
Yeah.
And and when it got
So
to
you
the
were
end,
pumped.
the gears are grinding again. Like
Yep.
like
Oh,
it
shit.
actually has a mechanical purpose.
Dude.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some stuff I did not mention in the review that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
Hell yeah.
let people
Keep
figure that out on their own
DL.
kind of thing.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there's some other like small things too. This is so small, but something I appreciate is that you have to keep your weapon sharp. So he like has this grinder on his arm that you're like buffing up your weapon. Eventually, later in the game, you can get a one-time like elemental buff. So you can get like a fire, or it's kind of like
Those come
electric
out
paper from
pretty.
Bloodborne.
There's at least items where you can do that pretty.
Yeah,
early.
there's like fire paper
Right.
items you could use too, but this is like just a bonus
An
when you
upgrade.
have
Okay, got it.
that resets.
Yeah, and it's so nice I'm thinking about Bloodborne specifically, where there were certain bosses that as I was attempting, I'm like, okay, I gotta load up on electric paper so I can at least if I can use one, that will really help me throughout the fight. And just being like, hey, we'll give you one that will reset every time. Just felt very friendly. I like
Yeah.
that. But I think what's impressive to me in seeing, as I'm playing through, I'm reading what other people are saying, looking at, guides and seeing comments and stuff, is that I'm seeing that this game in particular has really, I think, been surprising for FromSoft fans in particular, in that I'm seeing some people be like, I think this is as good. Sorry, there's like a truck blazing by right now. Anyway, there's some of these FromSoft fans are like, this is as good, which I think Brad and I are on the same page. It's not, I don't think it's as good, but I'm impressed that this small, unknown, I didn't do enough research about them beforehand, but this is like a small, relatively unknown Korean team put together this game, and clearly, maybe not too sure about it. It's seems like a higher middle budget game that was released immediately on Game Pass, so they were making sure that they got their money back in time, but it seems to have really hit with a lot of people. I didn't get to see the reaction when it came out. I think I was in Japan when it actually came out, so I didn't get to see what people were saying about it, but I'm seeing this like momentum behind this game, at least the way people talk about it online. They're like, this, if you glazed over this, or maybe you didn't like the demo, play it again. I almost wonder if that demo for specifically people that play this game did more harm than good, because a lot of people, myself included, playing the demo were like, that dodge isn't quite right. And that was one of the first things they said when after the demo period. It's like, hey, we're gonna fix that, we're gonna clean that up. But overall, it's
because like like you were saying, like the emphasis is more on the blocking mechanic than the dodge. Like the dodge is there, but it's like it's for very specific moments. Like the one thing that the Watchman guy that kept, when he would get me in that grab, and I'd be like, all right, well, this fight's over now.
Yeah.
It's like, dodge.
Oh, yeah, dude, the
learn
grabs.
to dodge the stupid grabs.
Yep.
But I really, really appreciate the timing and the length on stagger in this so far. Because I feel like, like 16, that was like kind of one of my disappointments. Is like you get guys into a stagger and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like they become like a bullet sponge kind of thing at that point. It's like, okay, they're down and they can't do anything and I just have to hit them a lot. Whereas in this, it's like it feels like a good moment. It's like, okay, I got them staggered. I can do a follow-up attack. Then I need to like get back on my guard and watch out, because it's not going to last that long. I got to just get in there and make it count.
Yeah. That's one thing that when it comes to that stagger mechanic, I feel like I saw other people online. So I'm curious how you felt about this, Brad, when you're playing, is that you have no way of knowing how close you are to staggering somebody.
Correct.
You kind of are just going nuts as much as you can until you're like, please stagger soon so I can do this cool attack. But yeah, I kind of felt I'm like a little like the Sekiro, meter. I think Coda would have. I think it would have been a benefit.
Like it. I kind of liked it.
I think it might have been part of the design,
you start pushing
though.
yourself more than you might need to, and I think that's part of the mind game of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What I think was so tough for me at the beginning is that it was hard for me to figure out how this game wanted me to play, because when people were like, "Oh, this is the Bloodborne game," I was trying to dodge everything, and that's clearly not the way the game's designed. It's very specifically designed around mixing all three, and I think that while I think that's a good idea, I don't think it quite nailed it. Specifically, what I noticed about the block, and this might be a preference thing of playing Sekiro 5 times or something like that, is that Sekiro perfect parries involve tapping the L1 button, where if you tap it at the same time, you're going to get that perfect parry. Where Lies of P wants you to... If there's a slight animation, it wants you to hit it at the peak of the animation, right before. And it wants you to hold the block. So it definitely took a large amount of switching my mind around and be like, yeah, I can't just tap that L1 button. Maybe, again, to the game's benefit, where you can kind of spam it a little bit in Sekiro, not fully, but that throughout the... Like I said, I got through the whole game except for that last optional boss, and through the whole thing I was like, I get what it's trying to do, and I respect it for being different, but of all the things they copied, I kind of wish they just would have copied that, the way the block felt,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, shout out. I was totally surprised by this game, and again, just such a wacky concept where, a year and a half ago, or when it was announced,
Pinocchio Souls.
Pinocchio Souls.
Yeah,
And,
that was a few years back, and I thought people were making things up.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So, it sounds like this team, they have They have ideas for other stuff to do based on the end, and it sounds awesome. That's all I'm going to say. I was
Did they announce
very
DLC
impressed.
or no? No. Okay.
But I'm down.
I think
for the
I just
future.
saw something that there was something that they're like, oh yeah, we're working, like maybe a tweet or something. That
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an option. I think there's an option on the menu
Like
where
downloadable content?
downloadable content or PlayStation Store or something like that. So
That might be for skins because I know there's like deluxe edition skins.
Oh, yeah. Dude, great skins in this game, too. It was kind
Yeah,
of nice
really
that
good skins.
there's an armor system around some of the different, like, internal parts that he has, but you can just change to any skin you want and play, and it doesn't affect... apparently, it affects how different NPCs will interact with you based on what you wear. I saw that. I had no idea until after I played the game. But I just wore the blue outfit where he's got like he kind of has like a George Washington vibe.
The box art
lights
one.
on.
Yeah, that one's sick. Yeah, that one's good. Yeah, Heber, you would like this game for
I
sure.
can't wait to play it. Definitely before the end of the year, 100%.
Yeah. Right now I'm repping that Mad Donkey.
Yeah, the donkey one's good. Absolutely, dude. Love the donkey.
Did you see the mod? Somebody put the Shrek characters in there.
Of course, dude.
It was
That's
Donkey.
Blood, that
and
is probably the
Pinocchio from
first
Shrek,
mod.
and- yeah.
Shrek is always the first mod available.
But here it actually kind of makes sense.
yeah, I hope it
Yeah,
cocks
it's
up.
like Shrek and CJ are always from San
CJ,
Andreas.
yeah.
Here we go again.
Always added.
That's so
Yeah,
awesome,
so
dude.
good.
Damiani, you have any interest in this?
I do. I just need to find time to play it.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah.
That's what Frame Trap just forces me to do. It's like, what else are we doing? Because I've been like playing. We're about to get into the driving games. I've been playing driving games for like 3 weeks. And like, all right, before Frame Trap, I just need to play something else. It's like Liza
Something
P.
other
Yes.
than F-Zero.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, my roommate has been playing it like the last like week, like nonstop too. So every time I come out, I just see him at like a different part, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Some of the environments you go to are really awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
It nails it. It nails the art aesthetic is the number one reason to play this
Yeah.
game. I think
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else is great too, to different degrees, but like you said, the locations and just visually, like I said, for this unknown team, it runs better, way better than any From Software.
Yeah, it runs really good.
Not that that's
Yeah.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Blood.
Yo.
It's racing time, dude.
Racing time.
You're playing EA Sports WRC? Is that the actual title?
Yep, that's
okay.
it.
EA Sports
EA
WRC.
Sports.
Important
in
that
the
the EA Sports stuff is on there this time because WRC is the license.
Okay.
And so there have been WRC games in the past from other publishers and developers.
Okay.
But this is from Codemasters.
Yeah.
EA acquired
There we
a couple
go.
years back.
Codemasters.
And so this is the continuation, essentially, of the Dirt Rally games.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
but now it's got the full license. So it's got some of the teams in there. It's got some of the other tracks in there and longer stages and stuff like that. I will preface this by saying this is a preview build, and it's very much clearly a preview build from a lot of things, and so they're like, this is even like weeks behind like what we're currently working on right now for retail. There's like we were talking about the compilation stutter stuff, and it's like, yeah, we haven't done that yet. That's so that you're going to get stutters in this. And then I was like going back and forth, like trying to figure out settings because I was like, on a 3080, I was like defaulted to ultra, but then I was like trying to figure out, do I want to have DLSS on there or not? And then do I want to have, and then like the last course I did, I like switched it back down to high because it was just like, okay, this is. Anyways, so you're gonna see like little bits of issues or whatever if you see some stuff in there, and there's also things that like locations I couldn't show, and so it's like dang.
Yeah, it's always a bummer.
But so anyways, there's a lot of different things going on in this game, and it's been a long time since I felt like I fully went in on the deep end, and I went in on the deep end of this. So like, all right, let me just check out the career. And it's like the career is so intense.
This is the F099 effect.
It's so ridiculously
Blood's back.
intense.
So on the tracks.
We get in there, and so you could choose like whether to do juniors or WRC2 or the like full on WRC like from the get go. But like you're creating a team name and a logo. You're creating or you're like having to hire staff and look at budgets and look at calendars and do all of this management
Project
stuff.
manager.
Damn.
Your chief engineer has like a skill tree.
That's awesome.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wait, like what's an example of skill tree, Blood?
Let me see if there's like reducing how much stamina, because your team, like when you take engineers out with you to like different events, like they have a stamina meter.
Whoa.
And so if you increase
That's sick.
you can invest in the right skills with your chief engineer, then you can reduce how much stamina they use per race or whatever.
That sounds kind of fun.
But watch
Also,
Gran Turismo.
increasing productivity,
Need this.
reducing costs of repairs, because you
That's a
got to
good
worry
one.
about that. You had to worry about that in Dirt Rally too, as well.
But my only question this entire time, is there a co-op mode where somebody can navigate with a map?
Co-driver is extremely important, but I don't know if there's a way to do that.
Because that is the
co-op mode.
biggest
But I'll have
fucking
to
missed
see.
opportunity in rally games of all time. That is such a core element to rally driving. It is a two-person team, period. It is a two-person thing. And no game has ever gone all in on that of like, yo, someone is driving and the co-op person is the only one with the map. They're the only person, they're the only ones who knows where to go. Like, make that happen,
That'd be
please.
sick,
I
dude.
am begging you,
It'd be sick, it'd be
developers.
frustrating.
I think
Just have it as a side mode.
be-
then,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
it doesn't have to be
option.
like
These
a
things
main
are
thing.
flying
Yeah.
at you
Mode.
so fast.
Yeah.
It'd be really
Yeah,
hard.
they're saying
to
a
do.
game.
That's the thing. Communication. It's like, yo, left turn coming up
Like
half a mile. Left turn.
VR
quarter mile.
mode. You could have like
Dude, in
the
VR would be so cool.
I want it so bad.
But Huber, along those lines, well, first of all, I kind of botched like the first couple of things because like I go in to like because I was trying to figure out the calendar thing. It's like I go in and like saw one of the things. First things was like motor show. I'm like, what's motor show? And I go in. It's like, oh, you want me to buy another car? I just bought a car. I haven't driven it yet. It's like I go to back out and it's like, oh, well, that was you spent your week on going to the motor show. I'm like, oh crap.
Your
I didn't-
allowance.
I wasted it. And then I was like trying to do an event, and it's like, well, you can't do an event without assigning an engineer, and you haven't hired an engineer yet. And I'm like, oh. And then I saw like I DNF'd on the first event because I didn't have an engineer.
God.
And so like I'm
Hard reset.
slowly
Bad
figuring
time
things out. And then I get into this race, and like the lights go out, and I like hold down the trigger, and I'm booking it, and the guy just starts freaking out at me, and he's like, "You're going too fast. You're going too fast. You're going way over the speed limit." I'm like, "Speed limit? What is happening? What are you talking about?"
It's a race, bro.
I thought I was supposed to go as fast as possible. And so I guess it's like called like a regulation race or whatever. And it's like, it's crazy because there is a target speed. And like these first ones, it's like 36 miles an hour or like 41 miles an hour. And so like the whole time the guy is like, you're a little under pace, you're way over pace, or this, and so like you're just trying to like hit this target. And there's also like a minimum and a max. And the way that you win is by like who gets the least penalty points at the end of the race. And so like it's just like, oh okay.
Maintain that
But like
speed.
half the time I wasn't even sure like what I got penalty points for. So deep end, very deep end. And the other thing was like I crossed the finish line and they're like, stop by the marshal, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like,
You're under arrest.
I'm driving really
Dude,
slowly and I'm looking.
John Marston.
I'm looking around. I'm like, is that the marshal? Is this the marshal? Is that? And like, and just like, but eventually, like, just like a couple of like it's like almost like 2 checkpoints past the finish line is where the marshals are, and like you pull under the gate and you stop.
Whoa.
And you have to do that on every race after you finish.
Weird.
That's insane. Whoa, dude.
The sports stuff that's like, it's cool. But then I like actually got into like some races that were like full on full speed as fast as you can, and just there's just something about these games, Huber, with the co-driver specifically, like telling you is like, okay, a square turn up here or a 2 or a 6 or 80 meters and all of that stuff, that like it's this great crazy space of like you get into a zone to where it's like you're doing it all, but but you're not really thinking. You're just, your mind is just in that place where it's like you're hearing it and you're understanding what's on the track, and you're slowing down at the right point, and you're just nailing everything. And then you don't, and you just smash into a wall somewhere. And it's like, okay, reset to track, or try to back up and go forward or whatever. But there are like, and Rally had some of this stuff too. But like, there are certain things that are, pretty intense and limited on that sense, because you, depending on your difficulty setting, you only get so many retries.
Nice.
So it's like, you get 5, like the setting I was on, you get 5 restarts.
I love that.
So like if you botch it, you can restart, but now you've only got 4 restarts.
I love that.
So, and then similarly, your damage matters.
Carries over.
It carries over race to race. So like when you're in an event, like that event might be like 5 stages, and this stage might be 5 minutes long. The next stage might be 13 minutes long. And in between some of those, you'll have time, and so you go to your repairs. And when you do the repairs, like sometimes they'll be like, okay, is it a quick fix or a more normal repair, or do you want to replace the part? And each one of those not only has a different cost associated with it, but it also takes up so much time.
Yeah.
And you only have so much time to make those repairs in between. So it's great to like kind of, that part I really, really like. The budget and stuff in between and figuring out the calendars. I'm like, I don't know about that. But just really nice, intense stuff. Even like being in Iberia was the main location I was in. It was nice for us, like, okay, there's like a night course, and that's kind of crazy and terrifying. And then there's a part where I was like, okay, I kind of guess I know what like this terrain looks like. But then I got onto this race to where like I saw like this thing in the distance. I'm like, I thought it was like a castle or something. And I watched the replay. It was like an old church basically, but this big old stone building on the horizon. And then like we went up these switchbacks around the sides of it and up to the top, and then got on top of the hill, and it just felt really different up there. And then I did another race later on, Rally Monte Carlo or whatever, where they, it got snowy up on higher elevations, and like you went from like kind of more temperate zone up to like spots with like clearly ice on the road, and having to manage all of that. And I know that they're supposed to have like lots of different seasons and stuff for the different courses in this game, so I'm really
gotcha.
looking forward
That's
to all
my
that.
question. Like, this type of game is like, how is it like in like cockpit view with like the crazy weather going on? Dealing with like heavy mud and stuff.
So
like
great,
how
sometimes,
good games like these, because everyone could push nice looking cars, but it's like, can you do nice looking weather and weather effects on like your windshield and stuff like that?
Yeah, and then
How you
again,
deal
like
with it.
testing the limits of like how long you're going to hang on to those tires and that kind of thing too. And then that's all the career stuff. But I wrote this down too, because so like it's one thing, it's like when you're just like on like whatever mountain roads or whatever, but then like when you get into like towns and there's like, all right, go make a left at this roundabout coming up, and you're trying to not slow down too much, but like where is it? It's like, okay, I see it, and then go through there. All right, make the turn. All right, am I on the right road? I guess I'm on the right road. Sweet. But also in addition to the career, I was looking to the menus afterwards. There is a championship mode, which is sort of like a career, but without all of the stuff in between, without having to deal with hiring people and all that stuff. Just do a series of races, so you can keep things a little bit more simpler. They're gonna have moments where they're like kind of recreating like some of these like historic races and stuff like that, so you can go back into those moments and stuff. They also obviously have quick plays and time trials. They have a thing where like you can like build up your own car, like go in and like really like fine tune all the parts and stuff. And then Brad, I think you'll like this. They have Rally School.
School?
Yeah, it's just like the GT license test.
Oh, really?
Where they really like go through and explain how to drive rally and all of these rules and stuff that I'm like, I got no idea what the crap's going on. It's like, oh, there's Rally School right over there.
That is sick. That gets me hyped, dude.
Go to class.
Go to school, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dude, that's so helpful in GT.
Yeah.
and I imagine I think the only time I played one of these games, or I checked out a demo for PlayStation VR years ago, and I remember immediately, I'm like, why is there a guy yelling at me about turning? Like, I know so little about racing stuff, but I got into GT7 was kind of my, dipping my toes into that, and so I was watching footage while you were talking, Blood, and I was like, man, this looks like it would be so fun in VR. Apparently they are patching in VR support on PC, but not PlayStation.
Oh,
so
that's weird.
A little, maybe, I don't know, maybe they just don't want to confirm it yet, but playing this game like with a wheel in VR, I would imagine that just from playing GT, where it's already can be like intense enough if you're driving around people and it feels like you're there, but going around those corners would probably be, make you feel a little queasy almost going around.
Yeah, it's so fast, and it's like just almost blind, and that's why you have that co-driver there, because it can be legitimately terrifying to go down this like narrow thing on the side of a mountain through the woods at night, and it's like,
jeez.
Yeah.
What car you been rocking, Blood?
And this I don't like
WRX?
off the top of my head. No, like they're very specific, like sports.
Oh, okay.
Versions of a lot of these vehicles. So I had like one that was I might have written it down, but I don't know if I did. But it's a Ford Fiesta Rally that I did in the career.
Oh, okay.
And then something else that was later on when I did the championship mode.
Damn. Well, this sounds intense, Blood.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool.
It's intense, but it's good intense for sure.
You've also been playing Forza Motorsport. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, it's time for Sort It Out!
Whoop.
Sort it out.
This segment, we just talk about something, that needs sorting out in the game industry, something we're not happy with. Bloodworth, do you have one off the top of your head?
Which one?
Which one?
Too many, huh?
Yeah, these,
Are you ready to go?
I mean,
if someone's ready to go.
It's a meme at this point, but these screen space reflection things in Forza on the windshield wipers in particular, it's so distracting. It's so ridiculous that this is where they decided to use this reflection technique.
I like it.
Because it's like you when your windshield wiper goes up, then it's like you've got like a second thing going across the road underneath of it that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's because it's a motion thing constantly happening, like driving in the rain. Just kind of like, it brings it down. Brings it down.
Yeah, PC stutter in games.
Yeah, that was the other one.
No.
Of.
Must deal with that.
This Unreal compilation stutter nonsense.
Huber, do you have one? Is it about PS Plus?
No, I don't think I have any sorted outs this week, Brad. I think I'm good.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Layoffs.
Huh?
Layoffs.
I mean, Leo's, we talked about it on the podcast. Like, fuck that.
Trying to give him an idea.
Yeah, no. I was thinking that, Damiani, but it's like we've already talked so much about that.
No, that's fine. That feels like it's a weekly thing at this point, man.
That's more than a sorted out. That's like a discussion about that.
That's right. Yeah. Give it its fair
I like
due.
that. A discussion is
Yeah.
a discussion. The most
That's a good
intense.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The next tier, dude. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll have to remember that. Damiani.
Yeah, I mean, this one can be a more in-depth discussion on the podcast, but the discless version of the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Quiet little price bump. $50.
Such a
$50.
quiet little price bump, dude.
Unceremoniously, like,
Yeah.
hey, I get you could. We'll get like into the arguments of it later, but I do understand the people pointing out you can add a disk drive to it now. So like maybe that's where like they're trying to upcharge you on it, but. There will be a point when all the stock is sold out of the existing one. There will be no $399 PlayStation.
Correct. So if you want it,
5.
get it.
Yeah.
I have a small one.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me because I'm not invested, even though I've played them all. But there are already cheaters in Modern Warfare 3. And it's
beta.
It's PS5 only though. Here it is, Damiani. No. Because for the longest time, everyone was like, "Oh, crossplay brings all the PC cheaters into Call of Duty. It's all PC." Everyone is pointing fingers at PC.
This is copium.
This is the closed beta. People are already fucking going insane. There's a guy, I played like 2 matches. There's a guy in my lobby. He was on my team. There's a guy on my team, just 65-0. like videos going everywhere of
Wow.
like people shooting through walls. Like it's all over.
This is only on
There are probably
PlayStation. This
sites-
only
beta?
on PlayStation 5 right now.
There are people probably sites already. You know what they do? They
Yeah.
do it through the controllers, right? That's how they do a lot
maybe
of these,
PS4
I
too.
believe. There's sites that probably sell this stuff already and been like advertising.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's
100%.
just it's really crazy for one of the highest budget, most successful games in the history of video games.
I mean, there's a
To
budget on
still-
anti-cheat stuff that's probably more than most games.
Yeah, their Ricochet was
Yeah.
supposed to fix this, and it's like, this is the closed beta, and it's already this bad. Like, you have a problem, sort it out.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to clean it up.
Yeah.
A lot of it before then.
But it's nothing new. There's been cheaters in Call of Duty for ever. There's always going to be cheaters, but
Yep.
like, there's got to be a way
gotta
to
be a
sort
way.
that out.
Yeah. Dustin, what do you got first?
Yeah. I got to sort it out for a specific company. Again,
Oh.
I thought of this because you and Brad, you asked me about this recently. I just pre-ordered about a week and a half ago an analog pocket. So
Oh,
anyone
right.
who doesn't know what this is, it's a super premium Game Boy that has it's like a 1440p screen that's just like
Yeah.
crunched into this
It's
tiny
awesome.
thing. And dude, Huber, if you haven't seen this, it can emulate the screen down to the lines between the pixels on a
Damn.
Game Boy.
Wow.
It's very cool. It is not the best value product for playing Game Boy games. It's like $250. So it's like
it.
this is the
It's a
highest
premium
end. But here's the
item.
thing about dude, I got two complaints about analog. First of all, I ordered this. I'm like, okay, I want the dock also. I want the full experience. I get the dock. Dock $99. I'm like,
Whoa!
wow. Okay.
That is a
All right.
huge tax.
How much is
Yeah,
the Nintendo
big
dock?
tax.
For a dock?
Dude,
Do you wait? Is the dock optional?
Yeah.
It's to charge it,
It's
right?
optional.
Yeah, it's optional.
this is to plug it into your TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of essential.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Yeah.
kind of essential.
Nintendo only charges $60 for their dock.
Dude!
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My God!
Worse than Nintendo
Nintendo.
tax. So,
Dude, that's crazy.
dude, $100 for the dock, and I feel like that is essential because it runs.
Yeah.
Like you can run
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, Genesis. You can make this your all-in-one kind of like
Wow.
emulation retro device. You know, so that's
So they know
so 99
what
bucks.
they have, so they're charging
Yeah.
a premium for it, because that sounds very nice, dude.
yeah. So okay, well, hold on, it gets better. Then I'm like, okay, the screen is so nice. I'm invested. I need a screen protector, and it's a specific size. They'll sell you a screen protector, glass one, $16. You get one in there too. They don't give you any chance in case you screw it up. You get one screen protector.
Wow.
Okay, then add insult to injury. The total it was $25 to ship this. Like what's going on? What
$25.
God.
is someone hand delivering this to me? What's going on here? Is
Yeah.
this like Gabe bringing out the Steam Deck? What's going on?
This better be like
Whatever, right?
1 day delivery at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of money. It's a lot, and it's like, dude, at the end, you're like, I'm committed. But here's where what annoys me: the real sorted out is that I ordered this because they have the variant I bought is the see-through edition, like the kind of like
yeah.
the atomic colors for
Right.
that they did for Game Boy. Tried to get the purple, it sold out too quick. So I got the blue. But that's the thing, Brad. You said, let me know because I'm thinking about it. Mm-hmm. You can't get one, Brad. There's no way to get it. If you weren't there for those 3 minutes or 5 minutes that they were
Yeah.
live, they're done. You can't get
Done.
one.
Well,
Is it done
yeah.
forever?
Yeah.
Like an NES Mini? Am I out?
Well, do they have the normal
So-
ones?
No, they don't have those anymore.
God, dude.
So here's they will
Hate this.
probably
So now
do
it's probably
more.
like $400 on eBay or wherever the hell. How much for one right now?
You would be lucky.
Yeah.
You would be lucky to get one for 400.
You would
Let's
be
see.
lucky.
Let's just look real quick.
Dude, I hate this.
Live check.
So let's look at some sold listings right now. Because
I
they did a
hate
glow
this.
in the dark one too.
Wow. That's
okay.
crazy.
You don't.
I still
This
lose
actually
sleep
isn't
over
as
not
bad as I
getting
thought.
an NES Mini. I still legit lose sleep. It really hurts my soul.
The
I
NES
got
one?
the Super Nintendo, but I do not
Yeah.
have an NES Mini. That's like my childhood, and dude, I'm not even kidding. Weekly, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
So it's not actually as bad as I thought. If you want to get a scalped one, you're probably paying around 100 to 150 premium. Which when you're already spending $250 on a
Yeah.
Stupid
It's like
Game
400
Boy.
bucks.
Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
so
Wild.
the Sorted Out is like they've designed this whole company around limited releases. It's like stupid like branded shirts or something, but for
Right.
retro gaming stuff. And I just hate that. Like
Yeah.
I understand you gotta decide how many to make. You gotta make sure you sell them. It's a big investment. And I think the original one they had open pre-orders for, but like just people obviously want these, and you're creating this frenzy where all of these sold out in 5 minutes, and they want it to feel exclusive, and I hate that. I want people, Brad, I want you to be able to go and buy one when you want it. I
Like,
don't
let
want
me
it to
go
be,
on Nintendo.com and just buy an NES Mini. Let me just buy one, dude. Let me just buy one.
Let him buy
Nintendo.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
This thing
it's
sounds
disappointing.
awesome,
So analog sorted out. Please.
Yeah, dude,
Let people
I'm sad
buy
now.
your overpriced Game Boy.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than like wanting a video game thing and they're just like, nah,
Sold out.
no,
Never
we
gonna
don't have
make
it
it.
anymore. Just
Yep.
like, dude, what?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, Dustin,
Dude,
do me a favor.
the Tears of the Kingdom, they just dropped the 2 new amiibo for pre-order, the Ganon and Zelda. I got
Sick.
Ganon. Zelda was like immediately sold out. I'm like, well,
Damn.
fuck me, I guess. Nintendo says no
Yep.
Zelda, so I'm gonna have to go out and try to find one day one or something. But
Hey,
thought
Dustin,
we had that sorted out.
Do you know what disc is in your Dreamcast down there? Is
Currently
there a
nothing.
disc in the machine?
No disc in there.
No, I only own
Nice.
one Dreamcast. I got this at a flea market a yard sale for. I convinced the guy for $20, and it was like caked in dirt. I cleaned it
Oh my
off.
gosh.
It looks pristine now.
Nice.
But I only have Sonic Adventure,
Nice.
and I don't have any controllers or anything. I just have
funny.
the system, so that's like I gotta build up that Dreamcast stuff.
Yeah.
Is expensive though,
Yeah,
but everything
it is.
in retro is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Damiani, you got both the amiibos, didn't you?
Yeah, and I was gonna say probably not to freak out because all the stuff they did for Tears of the Kingdom might have like had waves that sold out, but they've been reprinting that stuff pretty.
Right.
Even like the collector's edition goes back up
Yeah.
every few weeks, like because they just had too many of them to sell. So I think wait till closer. Don't buy in the secondhand market. Like they
Right.
will have
Yeah.
a huge resupply for around the release for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing is usually on release day I'll probably just go to my Target and they will probably have them. But dude, that Nintendo, they get you. I bought the Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition like an impulse because I'm like these are gonna be hard to get. I don't want to not want it later, and now they're just everywhere. So Nintendo,
Yeah.
is there like an eternal Nintendo sorted out on this show? Like just like
Yes.
blanket
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
As long as
Nintendo.
I am in
Yeah.
charge of this show,
Yeah.
Dustin, yes, there will be
They just have a blanket sorted out forever.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
eternal sorted out Nintendo. All right, let's hear from listeners. Jed wrote in, sorted out Unreal Engine shader stutter on PC is still awful.
Yeah.
It's been years of this nonsense. Can't you automatically complete shaders at startup like everyone else? Sort it out.
Sort it out. I feel like they just did a big Immortals of Avium PC test. I think they finally fixed that game. There was some like stutter in there or something.
Dude, it's unfortunate because PC gamers are willing to spend so much money on hardware, and they are
Yes.
treated like not third class citizens of gaming.
This year has
where
been
it's just-
especially rough, I feel like.
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah. It's bad, man. It's from Cathal Fallon. Sorted out. EA Dragon Age 4 seems to be in development hell. Command & Conquer got another crappy mobile game, and you're letting your other franchises wither and die like SimCity, Mass Effect, and The Sims. Please correct course before you burn away all the goodwill that the Dead Space remake got you. They are doing Mass Effect, but that's going to be a ways
That's
off.
a long ways
That's like
off.
4 or 5 years
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, it's mainly their franchise. Kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their sports stuff.
And they're probably looking at Starfield.
Well, some of their sports stuff is having
Honestly,
issues.
they're probably going to learn a lot from just Starfield in terms of like, exploration.
Sure.
And what people like, what people don't like.
Yeah.
I wonder if that, like, God, I would just love, like, updates and documentaries about just game development constantly. It'd be so fun to just, like, see those conversations, be inside EA or BioWare or whatever when Starfield comes out, like, what they're talking about the game and, like, how it compares to what they're doing. And there's so much I want to know about game development.
This is from Demosphere. Sorted out, Sony. This new PlayStation Plus premium / deluxe subscription model is no good. All caps. I used to buy movies on my PS4, but the service was disabled back in 2021.
I loved that service.
I spent a lot of money on a platform I now barely watch any movies on. I'm aware I can still watch them, but if I can't grow my movie collection, then what's the point? Instead, it's just another streaming service with largely mediocre content. Sort it out, Sony. Yeesh.
Yeah. Hulu's going up. Disney Plus is going up. Every single
Everything's
service.
going up,
Cut
dude.
them all. Cut them all. Cut them all.
Cut them all, dude.
I'm serious. Cut them all, dude. It's the only way.
I mean, if you're
Brad,
not
you put
watching...
me.
Oh, yeah, let's
Oh,
see.
good.
I was going to say,
No,
if
I
you're
was gonna
not
say you put
watching
me in a
it-
panic with that because I realized I think I was signed up for premium right now, like the highest tier, temporarily,
Yeah.
and
Cancel.
I set myself a thing to cancel.
Yeah.
I forgot. So I'm like quickly like, oh shit, did I cancel that?
Cancel.
It's gonna be like what? It's like $300 an hour. Not
Yeah.
that high, but it's like insane.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
It's like 150
It's expensive,
bucks
dude.
or
It's
something.
too much money.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that sucks. It's expensive, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to everybody.
Dude,
Get
Netflix
ready.
is going to be like $25 a month soon. It's insane.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, Hulu's going up to like $17 or something. It's crazy. That's why everyone talks shit on Peacock, but at least it's only like 11 or $12 a month. Or
For now.
yeah, for now.
For now.
For now, dude. They're all going up.
They're all going up.
Really got to cut them.
All right. It's time for the exact opposite. Keep it up. Who's doing great work right now? Who are we loving?
Who are we loving?
Who's the best right now?
Who is the best?
Who's doing it right?
Seems like Liza P's doing it right.
ISP's doing it pretty damn
Shout
good.
out, Liza P.
Shout out that developer. I forgot your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Neo is the publisher, but that's not the developer.
Right.
I mean, Nintendo and Microsoft both been doing pretty good on these shadow drops this year. Mm-hmm. Got
Oh,
Hi-Fi Rush.
yeah.
We got Metroid Prime. We got those Pikmin releases. Mm-hmm. And we got F-099.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good year for shadow drops.
Yeah.
We have an Eternal sorted out for Nintendo, and I feel like we have an Eternal keep it up with Capcom.
Yeah. That's been the case for a while.
You know,
Yeah.
you have Resident Evil 4, the highest quality possible video game, $60, not $70, and then you have a $10 meaty DLC, so generous.
So generous.
Excellent quality. And then, of course, you have Dragon's Dogma 2,
Yeah.
which I got to play.
Yeah.
And,
It looks damn good.
I was very excited
It
about
looks
that.
janky in the right way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, this
that's
looks
what
like
she
pretty
said.
janky,
She's
but
like, yeah,
perfect.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, keep it up, Capcom.
Keep it up, Capcom, for putting in Leon's police uniform
Yes.
in 4 remake.
Not
now.
making it annoying to get.
I actually kind of think it's
I
sick that you
like
have to
that.
work for
Yes,
it.
I agree.
I get why people don't like it. I
I-
totally understand, but there's something retro about that Damiani that I
Yep.
really like.
That is like
That gives you incentive to grind it out.
Yep. 1998, dude. Best possible reward for any Resident Evil game ever, Damiani.
I just
I'm not
bummed
even
that it's
fucking
not
kidding
like
you.
it's tied to mercenaries and not tied to like another
Sure.
achievement in like the main game or something like that. Like
Yeah, because I feel like by the time they added it, everyone had beaten the main game 98 times.
So
and
separate
like
ways.
everything had been done.
it would have been awesome as a reward for clearing because you already do get
Yeah.
like an infinite ammo thing.
Yeah.
But maybe if you did it in like even fewer saves or even like
Sure.
a slightly harder one,
Sure.
just something that was tied to already playing like the main campaign. Even if No Separate Ways is DLC, it's still that. Whereas Mercenaries is like I just think you're unlocking alternate costumes for the mercenary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they changed? What did they change? The one requirement that I was too late on for you could do it through Mercenaries and not just through the main game. There was something you unlocked that they changed a week later.
Was
where
it
you
a gun?
It was something you could do through Mercenaries, and I was like, bullshit.
I forget.
I was really annoyed that they changed the requirement for it. There
Yeah,
was
that
something
sounds familiar.
forget.
Because
Yeah,
I think I
I'm
did
sorry.
it.
I mean, it was 6 months ago. I can't remember what it is.
yeah. I think it was a gun or something, Damiani,
Yeah.
for like the achievements. If you
There's
want
those
all the
deluxe
guns.
edition guns too, like the fucking
Yeah.
like
Is it
Terminator
samurais?
2 shotgun.
They're
now,
like
dude.
only slightly better than the beginner weapons,
Yeah.
and then they're like honestly, the first upgrade they're nothing. Like,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
trade them in for for
Yeah, they're
cash,
not-
pesetas.
Make it out to cash.
Make it
Yeah.
cash. Damiani, you got one, or keep it up.
I didn't really think of one, but I was like, I was reminded of another sorted out. I forgot.
Okay.
Because it was related to you.
Keep it up.
Because you're
Sort
gonna
it
love
out.
to hear this
Okay,
too.
okay.
So you remember like Tears of the Kingdom, where
Yes.
like where the they released an official answer for where the Sheikah tech went in
Oh
Tears
my
of the
God,
Kingdom,
yes.
and it is like more evidence for why I'm so checked out on like timeline, storyline
Zelda
shit in
lore.
Zelda. It just vanished.
They
It just
literally- they just
disappeared
said it
with
just
no
vanished.
explanation, and no one knows
God.
why.
It
It's
just
like,
vanished.
all right, okay, Nintendo.
How could you do this?
Magic.
How could you do this?
We forgot about it, and we're gonna explain it now to you. And it just happened, and no
That's
one
why-
knows.
Somebody said there was a quest line that kind of says the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but it just vanished.
But like
It just-
that's the
it just-
explanation.
it
It just
just-
But it
vanished.
doesn't make sense
It just
because there
disappeared.
is
Those towers
some-
just vanished.
It just
I mean,
disappeared.
those
There's-
huge structures, those Gundams are just gone.
It just disappeared. Yeah.
That's why Nintendo's
but other
always
parts of
Eternal
them are
sorted
still
out.
around.
What?
Like parts of them are.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
in the
It
new
doesn't make
towers.
any sense.
It's-
Blood.
Yeah.
Sort it out, Nintendo, forever on this
Yeah.
program.
Sort it out.
God.
Keep it up.
You go to where some of those towers were, like when I went to one of the first towers, like on the Great Plateau. That's where like I found like one of the ancient arrowhead things. That's Sheikah stuff, and it was right there. I don't know.
Only
Nintendo's
some of it
inconsistent.
disappeared, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only some of it.
It's just kind of conditional.
But even
So-
but that's the funny thing about it too is it's like, but some of the stuff that disappeared were just like scraps of metal at this point.
Here.
Non-functional
This
scraps of metal in a field somewhere, just
All right.
you know, timed out when the calamity was
Here you go.
gone.
This is the little quote from Fujiyoshi.
Yeah.
The Sheikah tech disappeared after the calamity was defeated. All the people of Hyrule witnessed this. But there is no one who knows the mechanism or reason why they disappeared. And it is considered a mystery. It is believed that since the calamity disappeared, they also disappeared as their role had been fulfilled. There you go.
So they passed on.
I don't know, dude. That whole game is like its story is like inconsistent. Some people remember you, some don't.
I
Though.
would just like respect. I would respect them and say keep it up.
Yeah.
If they came out and said like, yeah, we just don't care about the story. Like, we just
Yeah.
need to make another sequel with the
If they just submit
gameplay,
it,
and
yeah.
like, we couldn't think of a good thing. We wanted to do this, and it seemed cool. Like,
Jeez.
we just say that.
It's been my sorted out so many times, but I'm gonna say keep it up. CD Projekt Red for
Oh yeah.
putting in the work, putting in years of work on Cyberpunk to sort it the hell out, and not only that, money. I read that they spent over $100 million to get this game
Yeah.
right. I think some of that was Phantom Liberty cost too.
Yeah.
It was like over $100
Yeah, it's insane.
million
Cash.
dollars. So I gotta give credit
Yeah.
there because it's pretty much
It's super
unanimously
good now.
loved now, and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of games come out and they just move on. You know, like Nintendo with one of those Mario parties where they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna make more maps," and then they just never
Yeah.
did, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Dustin, what's your keep it up?
My keep it up is Baldur's Gate 3 for keeping it up
Yes.
every time I play it being awesome. I'm on a break right now. I finished Act 2 before I left for Japan. I said, this is nice, this is clean, can play some other stuff. But now that I'm done with Liza P, I think it's time. And here's, dude, Larian 2, they made a big risk, I think, by pushing up the release date to get ahead of Starfield. I think it, first of all, paid off massively.
Big
But
yeah.
payoff.
it was definitely buggy at launch,
Yeah.
and they have done a lot, not only to just fix those bugs, but to do specific things players asked for. Like, they just added, between the last time I played and now, there's like a mirror that you can look at. You can change your character's appearance in the camp and stuff like that. They've been just continually working on this game, and it's a game that I never thought I would like, and now it may end up being my game of the year. So keep it up, Baldur's Gate, for just being you. You know,
Yeah.
it's great.
Being awesome.
Just being awesome.
Hell yeah.
All right, this one is from LEL. Keep it up to Respawn with patching and updating Titanfall 2, my favorite
Titanfall 2.
FPS ever.
Nice.
Thanks to these updates, the game is not only playable, but also has seen a resurgence in popularity. There are also hints of possible Titanfall 3 announcement, which I really hope is the case. But if it turns out to just to be an Apex Legend update, Brad, get ready for a flood of sorted outs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be Titanfall update, so I don't get upset if it's not Titanfall 3. TJ Price wrote in, "Keep it up, independent game journalist. I've been an avid follower of video game journalism ever since the early game trailers days, and the sheer abundance of incredible game journalists these days is very heartwarming. I've been really getting into Last Stand Media lately. Shout out Toy Story 3. MinMax is doing
Toy Story
great.
3? The game?
Yeah, I guess so.
Dude.
Fucking sick ass game. Love
There's
that
lore
game.
behind that is enrages me. But
That game is
one of the guys-
incredible.
Well, is it better than Dark Souls? Because our audience voted it as better than Dark Souls 1 at our first live. So
Okay, that's insane.
That is an insane comment.
Yeah, that sounds like a meme. Like
Yeah,
they were doing it
that's
for
a
the
meme.
memes and the laughs. Classic gamers.
Yeah.
But that game is really freaking good.
yeah, it's forever tainted because of that for me. So
Yeah. MinMax is doing great, although they've been working with some nerd named Kyle Bossman lately. And the list just goes on and on. Keep it up, you amazing independent game journalists, and people like me will keep adding Patreon subscriptions. Love and respect.
Love and respect.
Thank you, TJ.
Nice, thank you.
All right, and this final one is from Garrett Wholefish. Keep it up, CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk 2077 has some of the best implementation of the adaptive triggers on PS5. When driving around, you can really feel every gear change or bump in the road based on the resistance of the trigger. This is even better than the GT7 does.
I'll be skeptical of that. But
I'm very skeptical.
I hope more developers put
Very skeptical.
some thought
of
into
that.
features
I
of
played
the
both.
DualSense. When it's done right, it is super immersive. Yeah, that is it.
I beat Cyberpunk and I remember liking the haptics and the adaptive stuff.
I remember
but
like
Gran
freaking out when I was
Turismo-
playing Gran Turismo, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's bold.
That is bold,
I respect it.
but I respect it. As always, we got some shout outs from some of our most generous patrons over there on the Platinum Producer tier. This time we got Jabbawabs, Elthanas, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Miguel. Thank you. Shout out. We appreciate y'all.
Shout out.
wow.
All right, Blood, we're getting back into racing mode.
Yeah, here we go.
It's time. Forza Motorsport. I haven't seen like a lot of people online complaining about this game, like from a technical standpoint, I guess. How's it been for you?
I just saw that one thing you encountered, Bloodworth.
I don't know which one thing because I've been
The
posting all
one
kinds of
thing.
random stuff.
I just seen some tweets from Blood. It's like problem. Like
You go ahead, Blood.
Yeah, I've been pretty mixed and back and forth on this game. I've been, definitely looking forward to Motorsport coming back. It's been so long that all of
many
the
years
previous
since?
games have been delisted.
How many? When was the last
it's
normal?
been like 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
So did they do multiple Horizons in that time?
yeah.
Wow.
Like, I think 4 and 5 both came
Okay,
out since
okay.
then. But there have been, they've overhauled the physics, they've overhauled a lot of things, and stuff like that. But there've been like lots of bits of things, like I was saying with the windshield wipers and the screen space reflection thing, just like things that are just not very polished. And I think like one of the reasons I'm seeing maybe more than a lot of other people is like the replay system in general is just a nightmare, like just all kinds of bugs and stuff happening in the replay system. And so because I'm recording, I'm capturing things and I'm going back and getting replay shots, and so I see all of this nonsense that's happening in the replay system.
I've seen some of your posts.
Apparently it's even worse in multiplayer. Like in multiplayer, it's not even like tracking the cars right, and so cars are going up in the air and stuff like that.
oh no.
But in stuff that I've seen is like you like drive by a river and then like you see this like giant like reflection of the underside of a car in the river, and like what? What? And then like I would see like reflections in like the hoods and stuff of my car driving around, and I was like, I don't understand what this is reflecting. So I'd go into photo mode and I would look at it. And I'd go back and forth and I'm like, okay, it's like reflecting this big yellow thing, but I would look behind, there's no big yellow thing, but this reflection is just like baked into the car, no matter where it is on the track. And on like another track, it was like a weird red thing. And it's just like strange things like this.
So it's not like a calculation error with like.
I don't even know what it
tracing
is.
or
I can't
something. Okay.
I can't explain what it is. And then the killer though is the gamma issue. That's the issue that hit IGN.
There it is.
Digital
That's what I was talking
Foundry
about.
explained it.
Yeah.
But basically, when you go to the visual settings, and hilariously, when I was messing around the other day looking at some other settings, I noticed you don't even have to change the settings. You don't have to change it from one mode to another mode or whatever. If you click past using the bumpers right in the menu, if you click into the video settings tab, and then you click out of it, then your gamma is screwed up and your game looks washed out.
Oh, no.
What?
That's a bad bug.
So I had to recapture 30 clips worth of footage, and there's stuff in there that I'm probably gonna have to put in anyways,
Such a
because
nightmare.
it's when things that only happen one time on a save file or whatever.
Yeah.
Loyalty rewards and that kind of thing. I don't know if I need to talk about that really, but it has Gran Turismo's favorite feature. You need to be always online to play the single-player career mode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until my internet cut out, and I was mid-turn, and I got a pop-up. It's like, you need to be online. I'm like,
Mid-turn.
excuse
Great.
me? Yeah. What happened? I guess my internet's out right now.
Oh my god.
But it was like you could go to free play, right? But you won't earn any XP or anything. I'm like, okay. But the nice thing at least was I just waited it out, and the whatever minute or whatever it took for my router to reset, then it was just like, okay, that screen went away and it could just continue right in the middle of that turn. But if that happens to you a lot with your internet connection, or if you have to be in a situation where, you are going to take your Xbox someplace where you don't have internet, it's like, nah, free play is all you got, no career.
Yeah.
And then just on the not bug side of things, because a lot of these things can be really nitpicky, right? It's it doesn't, you'll have an hour worth of races and you'll see one tiny little thing, right?
Yeah.
But the structure of the career, there's just not really a lot of variety. It's just basically you get different classes of cars and then you sort of do the same thing over and over again. It's you take a car buy a car, take a car, and then you do a series of races, and in between races, as you gain car XP, you will unlock the ability to get different parts. And
Got it.
each part that you get costs a certain amount of
Yeah,
car XP, but a lot of that stuff is locked out until you get up to level 14 or level 40 or whatever. And this is one of the things where I probably will, I'm definitely siding with a lot of people on this because it
Sounds
works.
exhausting.
The car XP thing for the career works for the career. The problem is it's universal.
Yeah.
So it carries over in the multiplayer, carries into the other
That's
stuff.
one of Dawn's biggest complaints with Mortal Kombat 1 Blood, and how just every game is just level this up, level this up, level this up, and it's Mortal Kombat has the mastery and the all these other just all these things to level up, and it's annoying and overwhelming. It's dude, leave me out of it, leave me alone.
And the funny thing about it though, in terms of the career itself, is because each of these little branches of it, are different types of cars. Once you've leveled up that car, then it's and you've done 5 races or 6 races, then you're never going to see that car again.
That's weird.
Until you go into multiplayer or something. If you're going to take it into multiplayer.
Because I feel Gran Turismo's progression was really nice. Finishing those books in the cafe
Right.
was so fun. Those, and that really breaks up the long term of your career in Gran Turismo. You're going to be playing that game a long time. So it's having these mini objectives with the cars, and then obviously you could do the unlocking the license tests. There's a lot of ways to break it up, which I really appreciated. And you're saying Forza doesn't really have that good of a loop. You just kind of level up the car and then do it again. And
It was it's you just go you just go through you do your hot hatches, and then you do your sport coupes, and then you do your vintage muscle or whatever, and it just in a lot of ways it's it makes it all feel very homogenous, right? It's not like you're doing different types of racing. It's no, you're doing the same essentially types of races, and you're just doing a different kind of car.
Got it.
On the same tracks and everything like that. And then the other thing that's sort of weird, so they're trying to do things to give it more of a motorsport feel, because they have like mandatory, well, not necessarily mandatory, but they have like practice sessions before, which I think is actually pretty good. It's like you get to go in there and learn the track before you do a race or whatever. But like the skip option isn't until you've already like loaded up that practice session. And so that's a little bit inconvenient. And even then when you do push the skip option, they're like, hey, if you do this, you're going to be missing out on car XP and you won't be able to upgrade your car. So it's like, well, I guess I should do every practice session even if I feel like I know this track.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get the upgrade parts. Even though I've got like 1.5 million credits, I don't have anything to spend them on. Because the parts are all about your car XP, and one thing that's nice about that though is that you can, the system does allow you to like swap things out because it's not about the money level, it's about the XP level. So it's like, okay, if these tires are taking like 400 of my car points, then it's like, okay, take the tires off and then invest in my drivetrain now, and it's just like figure out how to allocate the points into what I want.
Min-max it.
Min-max it or make sure it's balanced out so that you're not, going super fast and then you can't brake.
I know it's been going around lately speaking of Gran Turismo, does Forza do anything like this where you just like can't buy cars, they sell out? Have you seen this?
Yeah, but they're selling the game.
You just like grind for all this money. You want to get a car you love, and they're
I don't
just
think
like
Forza does anything like that.
good,
Like,
because that's so dumb. It's like it's
all
a
the cars
digital
that they
car.
buy.
What are you talking about? It's sold out. Like,
Yeah, you don't have to use the used rotating shop that Gran Turismo has. But the other weird little thing that they added in terms for difficulty, so it's like you have the AI difficulty slider, which is basically about how fast the AI go. But then the thing I can't really wrap my head around why. I liked it at first. I thought it was kind of interesting angle, but now it just feels sort of useless. Is before you start a race, you choose your grid position, and it's supposed to be like a challenge thing. So it's like, okay, it's like if you start in 12th, then you've got to like work. You've got to pass all these cars, and so that way, I guess it's trying to like alleviate the idea of like, okay, well, if you're in first, then it's like you're just kind of out there by yourself, and you never get to overtake any of the AI. But it feels weird because it's like I'm just sort of handicapping myself in a way, and like grid position is just something like in racing it's like you earn your spot on the grid, and now it's like there's not qualifying sessions. You do your practice laps, you try to get within like a bonus time for a practice lap, and then it's like, okay, now pick where you want to be on the grid, and we'll predict, we'll tell you like where we think you'll end up at the end of the race, but it's still sort of up to you. It's like, do I want to be in third place or do I want to be in 20th place?
How's it feel? How's it look? How's it sound?
Feel and sound is good. Look, I would say it doesn't seem quite as like it looks great, but it doesn't look quite as impressive to me as like the previews made it out in terms of like color reflections and stuff like that. Yeah. But the sound is great. One of the things I really, really love in this is they've done a full dynamic time of day and weather system.
Nice.
And so, like, I'm waiting for Dawn to get a look at these fog clips. Because, you'll have these tracks where you start off early morning, super fog, and not just like homogeneous fog or anything, but like patches of fog. Like you drive into a fog patch, and then like as you do a couple of laps, then it burns off and just sun starts coming out here and there, and it like feels really nice. And then similar with the rain, the rain is really nice and gets heavier and lighter and all that. But I was talking to Beaten Down Brian about this. I think they took out puddles, and I don't know why. I haven't heard any
puddles.
Puddle controversy. Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because Sports Motorsport 7, they made a big deal out of these puzzles and like how they studied each of the real world tracks, and like we're really looking at like where the puddles build up.
That's hilarious.
And like there's just not puddles in this game. We have not seen a single one.
Whoa,
Weird.
that's insane.
Save some FPSs there or something.
Yeah. Something.
The AI I'm back and forth on. It's
Oh my god, your tweets are so funny about this.
yeah,
Oh my god.
because it's like Gran Turismo
I heard about
AI
that.
is just like the train.
yeah, I do.
But in this, it's like turn one, the cars just kind of pile into each other and knock into you, and it's like, well, okay, guys, what are we doing now?
Top tier
And there are
tweets.
penalties depending on your difficulty. You can set penalty difficulty as well, so you can have it be really light, or you can have it be kind of like average, or like be like very strict penalties. And so there'll be times where a guy will just like bang into me. And they'll be like, penalty, 0.8 seconds. So I'm like, no, I'm hitting rewind. No. That is not my fault.
allow that.
Get out of here.
Well, dude, what? That's what I was hearing is that you'll get, if someone knocks into you, you will get a penalty, but then they can just speed away, no
Wow.
problem.
Yeah, it's unclear whether other cars, the AI cars ever get penalties.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But there are it is on the middle range setting, at least it is pretty generous. Where there are times where I've definitely like smashed into a guy and they're like, no penalty. I'm like, thanks. Going on. He's off the road now. But
Rubbing his race.
and off-track penalties too, which in some cases I like, but in other cases I'm like, this is a safety section of the track. This is supposed to be here for when things get a little hairy. But whatever. Eau Rouge, doing Eau Rouge on Spa at night. It's really sick. And then that was another one where like I came around on those last couple of courses and it like started fogging up at the end of the
Dude,
race.
I love that.
It's so nice.
Like that stuff.
But yeah, I think just the biggest thing is just like the lack of variety in the career and then outside of the career, because it's like you've got career and then you've got free play and then you got multiplayer.
That's it.
Yeah, there's none of these kind of like license tests or kind of things.
Ooh.
There's no other sort of like optional objectives. There's not like,
The cool music mode in Gran Turismo.
right, not like a music mode, not like a drag racing setup. Like you might be able to do drag and drift stuff in the free play, but it's not like set up as events, really.
Yeah.
And then they do have like additional tours like outside of the main career that they're adding over time. But it's weird because it's like I could do the first set of events on this tour, and then it's like, okay, this one's coming out in 2 days, this one's coming out in 9 days, this one's coming out in 14 days. I'm like, cool, I have to wait 14 days to do these 5 races that are kind of like the same as the ones in the standard career.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Feels like sometimes, Brad, people like look at the way Fortnite does like seasons
Yeah.
and battle passes and everything, and they just like do it wrong.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
You know? Just like, yeah, like on one hand, the exclusivity is cool with like the cars in Gran Turismo, like they sell out, like, oh, I got this car and nobody can get it. But also, like, it's a digital car. Like, what if I only ever play single player? Like, why does it matter? Who cares? Like,
Well, and the thing too with investing in your cars, like, because I have the whatever early access premium edition, which is also what they gave to reviewers, it's like you get bombarded with like, you got this car and this car and this car and this
Yeah.
car and this car and this car, and like, I'm cool. I'm not going to use 30 of those cars ever, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird because I feel like I'm complaining a lot, but I've also been having a great time with it. But
sounds like an Assassin's Creed
it
game.
just feels, it reminds me of being back in like Forza Motorsport 5, where it's like, okay, well, you're rebuilding a platform and you're rebuilding AI, but then it's like, I kind of feel like there's not a whole lot to do. Like, in terms of time, there's a lot to do, because doing the practices and the full races and everything takes time. But that's another thing that they got rid of from 7 that I'm not sure I understand why is, in 7, you could set career races to be like different lengths. So we're like, rather than just doing the same like 3-4 lap races all the time, you could set them to be like 12-15 lap races, and then have like the tire strategy and fuel strategy
Love that
mixed in
shit.
there. And it's just not in the career this time. It's like
Damn.
not an option. So,
Damn. All right.
Yo, when's the Forza movie?
right?
Great question.
Need that.
The Cars cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Dude, Gran Turismo's sick. Don't sleep on it. It's a good movie.
Yeah. All right, Huber. Blasphemous 2.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
Let's go immediately. One of my favorite games of the year. Swear to dude, Brad, I cannot fucking wait for you to play this game. I'm so hyped. I've been waiting for this all day. Oh my god, Blasphemous. Oh my god. So I loved the first one. Didn't get back to the DLC because I played it like a little after it came out, but not the DLC and stuff wasn't out. So I like finished it. I think I finished it on stream a while back, and then just dropped it. Other things. So I didn't do the DLC for the first one.
Of course.
Blasphemous 2 is so good. This is a top tier Metroidvania game. Absolutely top tier. So you play as the penitent one again. Story, I don't know what the hell is going on.
That's fine.
At all.
Metroidvania, it's fine.
Like legit, like people are speaking to me and I have no idea what they're even saying. Like that, like what are you even saying?
Did you switch it from Spanish to English at least?
It's in English. Yeah, I don't know what. And they all speak in riddles and they talk in like
it's
old.
destroying humor.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you even saying? I don't know.
So, yeah, what started at the beginning? What did you pick at the beginning?
I picked this big knife.
Okay.
You're probably expecting me to pick the heavy, but
Yeah.
So the very beginning starts out. You can pick one of 3 weapons.
Oh,
And
Yep.
each
that's very different.
Yeah, so you pick one of 3, and then you have to find. You can find the other 2
Yeah.
later on as the game goes on. And the weapons actually tie to progression. You have to use them to progress in the game.
Okay.
So I picked this really big knife, really cool weapon. There's also like twin rapiers,
That's what I picked. Yeah.
which is really cool. And then this big, like it's like a giant ball on the end of a chain. So you like goosh, and you can like charge it up.
Cool.
So, if you played Blasphemous 1, very similar, familiar game, Metroidvania, but the combat in this game feels so nice, and the platforming, everything is tight, and just it flows so well. Brad, the parries feel so good. They sound good. They look good. You can do like normal parries and then perfect parries. So with the knife, a perfect parry, just this like bloody like trail slams down. And you know, progression is like a Metroidvania. So you're going through, you know, you'll get to an area maybe where you can't progress. You'll have to backtrack to an area. And what I love about this though is, you know, a good Metroidvania to me minimizes backtracking and it just slowly peels back the layers. Every hour that goes by in this game, it's just getting better and better. When I found the other weapons and I was going back to other locations to find secrets and progress, I just like, dude, I was playing last night and it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was tired, dude. I just experienced the Dodgers playoff loss. I was not feeling good about life. I was very depressed. And I'm like, dude, I should just go to sleep. Oh, I should play a little more Blasphemous, though, for Frame Trap. Next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning. And I was like, I got to a little, you know, bonfire, basically. And I was like, I should really stop here, but I don't want to. I don't want to
That's
stop.
the same thing I was doing with Liza P last night.
Yeah, dude. Like, really cool bosses, you know, and fair too, like challenging but fair, where it's like, okay, I just got to find the pattern here. Like, what are you doing? You know, let me get my parries. You have a slide that you can do to like help you dodge. And yeah, everything just feels really nice. There's like a town hub. You get your currency that you can exchange for different items. There's key items that have different uses. You know, I have a bunch of key items. Like, I don't even know what to do with these. Like,
Right.
whatever. And then one of the main mechanics is there's a sculptor. Yeah. Damiani played an hour, so he'll chime in a sec
Yeah.
for sure. But there's a sculptor, and you can put in little figures into your, like, you have 8 slots, but only like 4 are unlocked at a time. Those give you buffs like more fire damage, more
okay.
prayer damage, more, you know, basic physical damage. You can level that up to equip more. But what's really cool is you can pair them together. So if you have 2 similar ones, it'll give you a secondary buff. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I don't, I want physical damage because I'm all about that. But if I use a prayer damage one here, those will pair and that'll give me an extra buff. So there's like that strategy involved, which I really like. When you die, go back to your bonfire. You don't lose your souls, basically, which is cool.
It's very
You did in the first one.
generous.
Yeah, so you don't lose your souls, but you gain guilt.
Yeah.
Oh.
The guilt mechanic. I think it was in the first one too. It's been so long, I forget. But basically, your guilt will keep rising when you die. If you go back and you reclaim your corpse, your guilt will go down a lot from where it was, but it'll still,
still
even
have some
dying,
guilt.
it'll still gain a little bit. And then that'll make it so you have like less magic power.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to confess,
Yeah.
which uses money to get rid of that. But like money's pretty tight because you
Yeah.
use money to like buy these key items, which are insanely expensive. I mean, there were 2 right out of the gate that were like 12,000 a piece. But then you can also buy like those figurines that you can do. You can buy more magic powers from this other guy. Like there's this lady who can, give you more Estus flasks. Just Brad, dude.
All the good shit.
Yeah, I know you love Blasphemous 1. I know you fucking love Metroidvanias. We always talk about Hollow Knight and Guacamelee and Castlevania and whatever the hell you want to talk about Metroidvanias. This is absolutely top tier. I'm so hyped. This is my top 10. I cannot get enough Blasphemous 2. I want to go home right now and play.
Yeah. How's the music, man?
Oh my god, I almost, because I drove today with Brad, I almost was going to put it on because I'm just feeling it so hard. But I'm like, you know what? I wanted to experience it in the game. I'm not going to put it on. I'm not going to put it on the radio.
Yeah, the music
dude.
was so good in the first game.
It's so good, dude. Just like Spanish guitar, freaking.
Yeah, and everyone's grotesque and stuff.
Everyone is
games.
grotesque. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good
Disturbing
enemy
stuff.
variety so far. I could use a little bit more on that front, a tiny bit more. But again, I'm pretty early. I'm 5 hours in. It says I'm like 30% done with the map. So waiting on that. But boy, oh boy, this game is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it, dude.
Yeah, dude. I just thought of you the whole time. I'm like, oh my god, I can't
Yeah,
wait to
so
this is gonna.
stoked to
Yeah, I know you
play
are.
that game.
I know. I gotta play Liza P. You gotta play that.
That and Sea of Stars are like,
Yeah.
See
God,
stars.
everyone's me.
See the stars.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
just combat sync. I love how all the different weapons are so different too. Like the big knife Brad has like this sick down stab, and like there's a Metroidvania, so there's a lot of opportunities to like down
Yeah.
stab, and it'll send if you do it high enough, it'll do like a shock wave and get
Cool.
multiple enemies. Parries are super important in this game. You better get your parry timing down for that. And then like the twin blades, dude. If you like. Dude, leveling up is like such a choice because you'll get these marks of martyrdom, and you can give those to the sculptor to increase your sculpting thing capacity, or you have to use those to level up each weapon. So it's like, what do I do here? Like the
Cool.
economy
I like that.
is
Yeah.
the economy is hurting me, and I'm loving it. Like, hurt me, economy, please. Yeah.
damn. Dustin, are you interested in this, dude? I don't really know your history of Metroidvanias.
Yeah, I am interested. I remember I think I checked out the first one for a little bit, but it was like a bad time. It's one of those things where it's like you started checking something out, but you're like, I'm playing something else right now. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is if I wanted to check this out, should I
Yeah.
play the first one, or is this just like two's better and the story is kind of whatever?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. I read the wiki to refresh myself, and it was like I don't know what any of it means or anyone is saying in these games.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest. And like it's honestly like not in a confusing Kojima way, but just like I just don't know what anyone is ever talking about in Blasphemous. I'm sorry. Like I need to watch a YouTube video or something because you'll pick up items and you can like click into the lore and it'll like give you this cool story, but I'm like, I don't know how this story relates to anything. So like, it's a loosey-goosey story for me. So I always say when questions like this, Dustin, it's like, it feels separate enough from the first one where I really think you could hop in. If you have the time, I tell people, you should always start at the beginning. But if it's gonna prevent you from playing it at all, then I say hop in,
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm hopping into Yakuza 3 without playing like 0, 1, and 2. I would never recommend that. But I feel like Blasphemous 2, you could easily hop in, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm just like I put up a review just to see the gameplay. I'm also.
Yeah.
Have you checked out these CRT filters in it? Because they actually look pretty good, which is
I have
shocking.
not.
Apparently, there's
No, I haven't
some
seen
pretty
it.
good looking.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
pretty
have not.
That's sick.
Oh god, it's so beautiful too. Like the beautiful game. It does really cool things with the art style too. It'll do the like tropical freeze Donkey Kong Country Returns where it's like your
Formula
character
One
is in
background?
shadow.
Oh.
You know, and it's like
yeah.
the background there. Oh my god, dude.
That's
Nice.
good.
I love this game.
All right, Dustin, Paranormasight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Square Enix game or
Yeah.
published game?
Came out in like the spring or something, right?
Yeah.
It's been sitting on my Switch
Yeah.
this whole time.
Yeah, this is a strange one, and I was thinking about this because I told you, Brad, that I was going to check this out and I want to talk about it.
I have this on Switch. This has been
okay,
on my radar
so-
all year long. This has been on my radar. I hope you are bringing good tidings.
Tidings.
Yes.
Tidings.
Dude, so here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about I think I played an hour and a half last night. So if you are super sensitive to spoilers in such a story-heavy game, maybe skip to the next timestamp. But I don't even have a lot of major things to spoil. But I know that with visual novels, people are very particular about that. So with that said, I was surprised just because I hadn't heard about this game until like maybe a month and a half or 2 months ago, and it's like, oh, there's a Square Enix visual novel that's $20, and when I looked on Steam, it had overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, it is hyped
reviews.
as shit.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I'm not the biggest visual novel fan, but I do like Danganronpa. I liked Virtue's Last Reward, stuff like that. So I dabble here and there.
Same. I'm
So I decided to check this
familiar
out.
with. I feel like I'm on the same page as you, where I've played like
Yeah.
your Danganronpas and your Doki Dokis and your boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
dungeon, and that's like it.
Right. Usually, if I'm going to check out a visual novel, I understand they're not going to be like, you're not going to be like, wow, the gameplay, but there needs to be some element of like puzzle. I'm not just going to sit there and read, Anime Boyfriend Simulator. That's just like you kind of just go from A to B, which, if you're into that, fine. But I need something in there. So I checked this game out on Switch, and I gotta say, for this first hour and a half, I'm super in. I'm super intrigued because it reminds me of how you would read a choose your own adventure book. Obviously, there's lots of games like this that are choose your own adventure, and there are times where the game lets you make the wrong decision, and then it brings you back, and you can kind of use what went wrong. But what's weird about this, and this is what it really intrigues me, is that one of these times I did something and it went bad for me. And in the game, there's like a narrator. There's this narrator guy with this old TV. He's got a mask. He talks to you. He's like very polite, but it's a very strange like outer framing of the story. I did something wrong. He's like, oh, that was intended to happen. And now with this knowledge, you can go and your character like has this intuition that's you, the player. So I'm like, is there going to be some kind of like fourth wall shit in this game, which I'm down for. But the overall story of what's happened so far is that you're meeting this girl that you met in this park at midnight. She's telling you all about the 7 mysteries of Honjo and about how these 7 mysteries tie together for let's see, what is it called? The rite of resurrection. And so there's all these people. If you figure out this mystery, then you can bring somebody back from the dead. And so I'll talk about this specific first path where you're it's the middle of the night, you're talking, and suddenly she sees something behind you, and then she ends up basically like kind of like dead. Almost, she looks like the Ring or something, like her eyes are glazed over, and you find this little trinket beside her, and this guy shows up in a suit. He's like, hey, it's like these cursed objects that when you get them, you can curse and kill people.
Some
But
Death
what's
Note
interesting,
shit.
Yeah.
yeah, well, dude, is that this means the rite of the resurrection has begun, and there are other people in the area that also have these cursed
Some
objects.
Squid Game shit. It's a race.
Right. It's very much in that line because the investigator, the guy in the suit's like, hey, I need you to give that to me. I'm going to take it to a safe space. You're like, you have to decide, are you going to trust this guy?
Don't trust him.
Is he actually, yeah. So I don't trust him. But the thing is, specifically with the cursed object you get, is that in order to use it, the person needs to turn around, and then you can curse them and kill them. And part of the right
some
is
Blair
that you
Witch
need to,
shit.
yeah. So you have to fill up your cursed object with souls, and so basically in this, you're trying to you're shaking this guy down, figuring out, is this guy good or bad? Obviously, I don't trust him, and then I got to figure out a way through conversation to be like, get this guy to turn around because I'm blasting him. He's done for. So in this and again, this is just one. This isn't the only timeline because this game has sort of like Until Dawn. It has like a butterfly effect type thing where it is intended for you to go back to certain points in the game and redo things and try other options. In fact, it's essential for the story later on. So in this line of the story where I have this cursed object, I'm meeting all these interesting people that also have cursed objects, and it's very much I'm trying to remember. I don't think any of you guys are JoJo's Bizarre Adventures fans, but there's like this you see each other and you have to like, okay, so does this person have a cursed object, and if they do, how are they able to use it to kill me, and can I figure out how to kill them first? And so it's this very interesting suspense. There's a lot of jump scares in this game. I was playing this with my wife Holly, and it definitely got her at one point really badly. And it's perfect, dude. This game's $20, and it's perfect for Halloween time right now.
Dude, I was gonna play it on a plane on my Switch months ago, and I had the Switch problem where it like needed to verify the account. Whatever.
Dude,
I didn't have like Wi-Fi. I know, dude.
Sort it out,
and and I have not picked it up. I was so mad, dude. I was like, I'm gonna go through like 6 hours of this game right now, settle in, and it's just like I haven't had the chance to go back, dude. That was my moment.
Dude, side note on that. So I mentioned this trip to Japan many times. So sorry if it's annoying, but I bought Sea of Stars, and my wife Holly was like, I want to play that too. I'm like, sorry. You can't. Like, we can't. There's no way for us to both play this game at the same time, even though we have account
save
sharing.
File? What?
No,
it's
there's
just like
9 save files, but yeah.
Well, we could play it separate. She has her own Switch, but it's like, if you want to share accounts for the game that I bought that we live in the same house, it's like you need internet. Sorry, it's not going to work on the plane.
Right.
So it's like Nintendo.
Sort it out.
But two complaints about this game is that I think that the lack of voice acting is kind of a disappointment. You know, a lot of these visual novels, sometimes they're kind of halfway where they'll have some stuff voiced, other stuff not. This doesn't even have that. It is just completely, totally silent. Which, with Square Enix Publishing, I'm like, come on, like, you got enough money to pump out half-baked Valkyrie Profile games and Star Ocean shit, but just a little voice acting in this overwhelmingly positively reviewed game. I mean, come on. So there's that.
When there's no VO, I need good music. How's the music? Does it carry it?
Yo, the music surprisingly goes harder than it needs to at certain points. It's like, damn, this is where maybe some of that Square Enix money came in, because there's some points. It's not. I'm not constantly like, oh my god, this music, but there was a few points I was like, whoa, okay, this is pretty cool.
Nice.
The other thing that's odd is that this game is available on PC as well, and also it's on like phones, so like you can get it on iPad or iPhone or whatever. And I think that the design was more intended for a touchscreen, because there are points where you have to control a little cursor on your Switch with a joystick, and I hate it. It's not. It doesn't ruin it. It's not horrible, but it's the menus were not designed in a way where you can kind of click around. You know, it's like this little cursor that comes around. It's like, not hot on that. But overall, I'm really into this, and it is fun, particularly playing this game with Holly, my wife, just because we are able to like kind of figure things out. There's definitely a lot of, it's called the Seven Mysteries of Honjo. So there's definitely a lot of like mysterious elements, figuring out how to get past certain things, figuring out like rewinding. And I didn't know this when I played it. I noticed like these backgrounds really do look authentic to Japan. And I'm looking at the Nintendo website, they like worked with the Sumida City Tourism Division and like a museum. And so all of this stuff is like real 360 stylized photographs of this area of Japan. And it looks really cool. So you're only going to like this game if you are cool with visual novels like Brad. You're not going to like it at all. This isn't going to be the one if you're thinking about it. Go play Danganronpa if you want to try.
One, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. But if you've got I was going to say if you got a tolerance for these things, that makes it sound really bad. If you've got the persuasion for visual novels, then
100% I'm playing this before the year's out. 100% because I feel like it is the visual novel of the year. That's just from everything I've heard.
Yeah,
or one of the better ones.
I told you guys about that one path in my hour playthrough with the different trinkets that let you curse people. I got to the end of that, and then it wanted me to go all the way back to the beginning, and the little bit I played of the next part is totally different. So I'm really wondering how far their like butterfly effect stuff goes for this. But yeah, a nice little spooky game for the Halloween season.
Hell yeah.
Sick.
Sounds cool. I won't play it, but it sounds cool. So that's good. That's a good thing.
Nice.
We got time for one more game. Damiani, if you want to talk about, you've been playing the new Final Fantasy 14 patch a little bit.
Nice.
Oh, do we have enough time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's keep it reasonable.
I'll keep it brief. It's not a lot.
You got like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I meant like keep it related to like the patch because there's like the other stuff. But yeah, as you know, Final Fantasy 14, they have like a patch cycle, post expansion. About every 4 months, a new major patch comes out. Not everything comes out day one. That's a big thing that you get used to. So most people just jump back in because the next major part of the storyline happens. This has kind of been a little bit of a filler arc. Generally, you have expansion, big new story, and then a few patches into the expansion. That story will be fully resolved. Like, you'll get a conclusion at the end of like the expansion, but there'll be a few loose ends that get wrapped up, and then it starts ramping up towards the next expansion storyline. This didn't do this time. They made it up front that Endwalker would end once you beat the expansion, and that a brand new storyline would begin, and that storyline would end before the next expansion.
Such a casual Damiani. Was Endwalker the last one?
Yes, it was the last one. It's the current one right now. Yes. Okay. So this storyline has been very Final Fantasy IV themed.
Oh, it's all like Final Fantasy IV
It's Final Fantasy IV fan service. Obviously, hit or miss. This is not the final. That storyline is wrapped up, but the story for this patch is broken up into two parts. They always do that. Part 1 just dropped. Part 2 will drop in January, and it is very clear that Part 2 will be setting up for the next expansion for Dawn Trail, because without spoiling stuff, they definitely are starting some of those threads at the very, very end of this. So yeah, you got the story part. It wraps up the story with Golbez, the Four Fiends.
So sick, Golbez
It takes place in another world, which has been consumed by darkness. If you played Shadowbringers, that world was consumed by light. This is like the complete opposite, and there might be some stuff going on between those in there for people who are into that. A lot of some Shadowbringers connections in there. So for people looking forward to that, and obviously like Golbez, and I love this Blood. How do you pronounce the final boss of Final Fantasy IV? The final form of it, Zeromus.
Zeromus?
It's Zeromus. Everyone in this game calls it Zeromus, and I'm like, you mean Zeromus? Zeromus. I'm like, okay, well, Square Enix says it's Zeromus.
Is it because they're like English actors? Like they said Chocobo
it could be
too.
that, but also like there is a character called Zero.
Yeah.
And like they do not, it's not a spoiler, they do not become Zeromus, but like I think maybe they didn't want any confusion there with Zeromus. Like it has nothing to do with this side character. It's something completely different. I don't know. I just found it very funny that they've been calling it Zeromus. Very like the dungeon is for this one themed after the final moon area, the underground moon area of Final Fantasy IV.
That's sick.
but
Nice.
also you go to the Kingdom of Baron. And
Nice.
you have a
Whoa.
whole sequence
Really?
with that, the dungeon.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was like, why are they playing the Baron music in this dungeon when I'm on the moon? I'm like, this doesn't make sense. As a Final Fantasy IV fan, I'm like, this is an interesting choice. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this makes so much more sense.
Did you clap? Were
Yeah,
you
and all
pleased?
the enemies are the captain of the guard. Like they have all the enemies from like you when you
Wow.
fight in Baron later on. I was like, this is
Craziness.
This is really cool.
Wild.
So yeah,
Ready to hop in.
storyline. If you're not caught up, it spoil things, but like it is over. Whether you liked it or not, that part is over. So
Okay.
you could look forward to
The
January to move on.
Infinity Saga Red is over.
That stuff ended in
Walker.
like December, like
Okay.
2 years ago. Like the
The Dark
big
Seeker
payoff.
Saga's
Dark
over.
Seeker
Yeah, that's
Saga's
been over
done.
there. They called it the
Now
Ascian
we're
Saga.
doing-
That stuff's
Now
over.
we're doing
The Master of
One Piece.
Master-
They're
What
doing
is-
the One Piece Saga.
Oh, we're doing One Piece Saga
They're doing
for
the
14.
tournament arc.
Yeah.
The summer vacation tournament arc is the next one they're doing. Who knows where we're going? I mean, we do know where we're going, but like where the storyline will go. So you got the MSQ, the storyline that's out there. The other big things they added the final part of the Alliance raid, the 24-person Alliance raid.
I didn't
This
do
one
any
has
of
been
those.
themed after. It's called Mists of the Realm. It's about like the deities of the world, the gods, and like what have they been doing? Like what are they up to? Like and like why have they not like intervened in anything? And you get those answers in this one. And so this actually felt oddly just to say this, it's very beautiful. Another beautiful like the visuals are some of the best visuals probably are in this Alliance dungeon. Music pretty good. I would say maybe like the music in the previous one's a little bit better, but still really good. But storyline wise, this felt maybe a little bit more compelling than the actual MSQ storyline.
Oh.
Because it deals with like something that's important about the world. And I was like, so if you're looking for something that's a little bit more relevant and you're not like into Final Fantasy IV and you're tired of like, I'm tired of going to other worlds, I just want to like, what about the world we're in right now? Like this is for you.
Okay.
I think you should not neglect this. Pretty fun to do. And then obviously they added another trial fight, those big boss fights. And this time it is Zeromus.
Is that Knights of the Round? Or what am I thinking of?
Knights of the Round. Oh, that's Thornton. That's an Unreal fight.
Oh, that's what I was
in
thinking
there.
of.
I did that too. Rose tinted goggles again. Maybe I remember that fight being way harder and stuff. But back in the day, it was just like you know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like it was fun, but like not like they're supposed to be challenging. They're not really that challenging for people who've already done them. So I wish they would make them a little bit harder, but it is what it is. But the other one, they always have like a new boss fight like each patch, and this one it's Zeromus. So it's
Okay.
Zeromus Extreme. Also a little bit on the easier
Easy side.
end, but also the rewards from it. There's so many other things gear-wise in the game that is better than what you could get from this, so it kind of didn't make sense to
do
you're
it
getting
what?
a weapon that's like lowered in like multiple other options. So why would you make this so hard to get? Like it's a
Could you-
catch-up
Is it
thing.
for
I
like
see.
a transmog?
It's basically if you like the glamour,
Yeah.
sure, but like also for people still trying to catch up, it's just another way to catch
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
So it's pretty standard. They did a few other quality of life updates here and there. There's still more stuff to come. Obviously, this is only part one of the patch. Like a new PvP map for their competitive mode is coming in a while. The Fall Guy stuff still not in there yet.
Yep.
That's coming as
play
well.
that. Yeah.
The Xbox beta hasn't started yet. They're gonna like announce that. So some of like the stuff people are kind of like really looking forward to in
still
terms of like
coming.
broader appeal hasn't dropped just yet. So this is just kind of the start.
Waiting for winter break.
Yeah,
to
winter
get
break
everyone
is max
hyped.
MMO time.
Yeah.
It's perfect for
They
that.
did make an announcement about they're going to start trying North America. We're also getting a cloud server stress test.
Oh.
Because they're going to start looking into cloud servers for dealing with server expansion, because that's always been a thing with this game, is adding new servers, the difficulty in doing that, the difficulty in getting people to play with each other on like different data centers. And this seems like a next step they're going to try and see what they can do. They have said before that they were really hesitant to possibly never would do it, but it sounds like maybe the Microsoft deal, like, maybe to open some new
Maybe.
doors and possibilities for their tech.
Yeah.
To possibly come in and lend that support so that they could get this going. But it does seem like a good, necessary step, because it's something they could scale more easily. So like around the launch of Dawn Trail, if this works out, they can add temporarily a lot more servers to handle that demand. And then as time goes on, they can like scale that back, kind of like the natural expansion cycle. But yeah, it's pretty standard fare. The only thing I say all the time, because like there's a lot of like discussion going on right now in the game about like the state of the game. There are a lot of doom and gloom videos going out there. There's like a newest one that just came out from I forget what their name is. It's almost like at 100,000 views, which is shocking. But they call it like the downfall of Final Fantasy 14 is like their clickbait title.
Okay.
I mean, there have been a lot of people saying like, oh, it's like the worst time, and like people have like bad memories if you think this is the worst time. Yeah, for sure. Not even just like overall, but like from A Realm Reborn onward, like people don't remember Heaven's Ward, post Heaven's Ward like patches. That was the darkest times, but. That's like the hot topic right now that everyone's jumping on board with is like, is there enough mid-core content? Is there enough community content? That is a valid thing, is that it does feel like because they've done so much, I don't know how much you're aware of this, Dustin, but they have been doing a lot of work to make the game more single-player friendly. Like they've gone back
I
to
heard
like
about that, yeah.
Yeah. They've been doing a
I'm
lot of
surprised
work
Brad
on that.
didn't message me about it. Because like once every month and a half, that's the one thing, as long as Brad and I have been friends, every once in a while I'll be like, oh, Final Fantasy 14's on sale. Maybe it's time to check it out. And so, maybe it's a single player. Not that I'm against playing with people, but that would make it easier to catch up.
You can play a lot of the game by yourself.
Except for like there are certain fights that require 8.
All of vanilla is like basically solo.
So you can do all of A Realm Reborn from 2.0, like the base expansion by yourself. I would say 90% of the content is now soloable and will be up to catching up with the next expansion. The trouble is there are 8-person fights that are usually at the end of each expansion, like the big boss fight that requires 8 people. And in every patch after that, there's like the trial bosses that come out. Some of them are tied to the main story, and they also require 8. They haven't fully figured out how to do that with AI yet. There's one or two in the game that do that right now, but there are a lot that they would have to all the stuff they've done to make ready for single player. They've had to do significant reworks of the boss battles so that even for when I'm playing, like if I were to play with all of you right now and we went into them, they changed the boss fights of a lot of these early dungeons that they're no longer the same as they used to be because the mechanics weren't lending themselves very well to AI. So like we need to make these mechanics that's something AI can handle and like still feel like a good fight, but they have to be different. So reworking larger fights with more complex mechanics is a little bit more challenging. But anyway, they have been doing this thing where they have been streamlining it so like new players can get in, and also the meme. They have now expanded the free trial to include the second expansion, Stormblood. Right. So now you can play up to level 70 and all that content.
Yeah, that's a lot of game.
Free?
For free. You don't need it like any. You just like
monthly.
There's no fee. There are some restrictions. Like there's some content you are locked out of. Like if you're free, you can't join a guild. You can't.
If I'm already in a guild.
You can't be on a free trial. Free trials are for brand new accounts who have never paid before. Yeah. You can't. If you're trying to come back on an account, you're not eligible for that. But yeah, that's kind of what they've been doing like a lot of work for that. And
cool. Yeah, we'll get you in there one day, Dustin. You can't hide,
dude. I think about it pretty regularly. It's just I can't. No, I mean I know I've been hearing you guys talk about it. Just you can't escape all of these new releases, and dude, just looking at like early next year with Persona and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it's gonna be insane for a very long time. But what I probably need to do is sort it into my life in a way where it's like, okay, I'm gonna do A Realm Reborn and then put it away for a little bit and then come back, and then it might take me 4 years. But
that's what I did. I finished A Realm Reborn like years ago, and it's like, all right, well, maybe I'll do Heaven's Ward.
They definitely have been streamlining even more. Besides the solo adjustments, they've been kind of like pruning some of the required stuff you need to do, like trimming some of the fat. They've sped up how fast it is to level up. There are definitely still other issues they need to address, but like in terms of like the speed of getting through it, it is getting gradually faster and faster to get through it. Even if you're like watching all the cutscenes, just the amount of activities you have to do to complete each expansion, they are speeding that up. So I would say like as time goes on, that gap gets shorter and shorter, except each new expansion does add on to that, like how much you have to do. Yep. So but
it's so nice, like if time is a factor, it is nice just being able to do like the MSQ only. Versus, I imagine when a new expansion comes out, you gotta like do some side content also to level up, keep leveled up. But like now, when I did vanilla, it was like I did the side stuff because I wanted to experience the lore, but I never felt like I leveled ever once.
Leveling for your main job is not an issue anymore. I know back in the day, like level gating used to be a thing. Like you haven't done enough quests, you got to do that. That's pretty much gone and obsolete now, except for the two problems are alt jobs still take forever to level up. It's the point of contention that people would, as we get more and more jobs, people would like to see that sped up. And gearing, gearing catch up and gearing multiple jobs is another big point of contention in that game that people would like to see that be maybe worked. And the third one I would say is your rotation. They still really have not addressed how you get abilities. Starting at A Realm Reborn, it's way too slow to get to like your baseline toolkit where you're doing like your 1, 2, 3, your single target and AoE stuff. Like you don't get like by level by level 50 you sort of have that, but like you don't even some jobs you don't even really have that. They need to meet that out a little bit faster. I think that's like the next big rework is like going back, looking at each job and like how do we get people their stuff faster so it doesn't feel like this job is so boring to play for so long. Because when people refer to A Realm Reborn maybe being a bit of a slog, I think the simplicity of jobs contributes to that because it's like, wow, there's like every job feels that all the melees feel exactly the same, all the tanks feel exactly the same because you don't the real depth of their toolkit isn't built out till like the later expansions, and those tools are withheld from you till you hit those milestones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I gotta start it again. When I played it on stream and someone told me the starter area I picked was the worst one. I don't know if they're not like created equal or something, but
that's probably just like their perspective.
Yeah.
Like objectively, there's really not any difference.
Yeah, they're all
Don't
cool.
worry. Yeah.
All right. It's time for some emails.
All right.
All you listeners, viewers out there, if you want to send an email, head on over to patreon.com/easyallies. Join us. $5 and up. You get to send questions to all of our podcasts, as far as I'm aware. And you get to join our Discord. Chat in there. We have the lists we read on the podcast. Their tier
we got
list.
food pictures. We got all
Their
kinds
top
of stuff.
pick, their top 10s, all that good stuff.
People
Quick
were-
shout out to pickpocketing in Assassin's Creed. I didn't get to bring that up.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, man. That's honestly one of my favorite mechanics
I was a little
of
confused at
2023.
Shout out.
I swear, 2023 top mechanics, pickpocketing, Mirage. It had to be said.
Okay. All right, the first one is from Jason Wojnar. With all these attempts at games as a service failing or never even getting to launch before compromising a company and many developers' jobs, it actually makes me miss the days of tacked-on multiplayer modes that didn't seem to have that much effort. And Uncharted 2 was simply cool to take that gameplay and put it into a deathmatch setting. What are some of your favorite tacked-on multiplayer modes that people dismiss but you played a lot of and had a good time with?
The Last of Us
Other than Uncharted 2, Duke Nukem Forever, and Quantum of Solace both had surprisingly fun multiplayer games. As an honorable mention, the fact that Team Fortress 2 never got updated on PS3 made it a fun and in a unique way for years when compared to the other versions. Duke Nukem, we played a lot of.
Yeah, X Defiant
Dude.
got.
Duke Nukem
Delayed.
0 Hour.
Speaking of those live service games, X Defiant
Yeah.
just got delayed to preseason or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez. Tacked-on
I'm
multiplayer.
trying to remember.
Oh my god, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, dude!
Oh.
Yes! that was so much
I know
fun,
so many
dude.
people were into that, and I tried it on I think one of the later games, and I just couldn't.
It's
But,
got a barrier, dude. A barrier to entry. That's what, dude. So many games.
It filters people.
Yeah, it really does. It's like you got to commit. You got to put some time in. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go in and run around and stab people. It's like, no, dude. This mode, it was awesome because like if you ran at all, you would be noticed.
Yep.
You know, you really had to walk around, stay hidden. You know, hide in a little haystack, grab someone. Like, dude, that mode was so much fun. Dude, bring multiplayer back to Assassin's Creed, like Unity co-op and shit. That was sick.
I can't remember the details for how it worked, but I remember like Metroid Prime 2 had a multiplayer mode, and we were all just like, what? But I think it was actually fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't remember all the details, but like it used like morph balls and lock on and all kinds of other nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damiani.
I remember Mass Effect 3's multiplayer not being that bad. It got on.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yes.
because
Yeah,
of like
that was huge.
the initial like perception of the requirement
So
for it for them
addicting.
like progression, but actually playing it, I was like, I actually had kind of fun with it. You know, I
Yeah, yeah.
And
actually
you can
ended
bring
up-
that stuff into single player,
Yeah.
right? Your resources or something.
Yeah, that was when
Something-
Yeah,
people
that's
were
the controversy.
complaining
You
about
had
that.
to.
Yeah.
That's
You had to put
but
the
then
time
you
in
found out
multiplayer
all it
to,
did was like it made
save
it
the world.
It made it faster. They did something eventually where it's like you didn't have to do it
God.
anymore. But yeah, I was like actually had fun with it. It wasn't too complicated, and it was pretty. You know, the maps
Yeah.
design was pretty decent for being simple.
It's been a long time, so I could be dead wrong here, but I remember having fun in Winback's multiplayer.
Win back.
Yes, win back deathmatch.
All right, maybe.
Sick.
I didn't play it.
Yeah,
I played Winback, but not the multiplayer.
yeah, dude.
I got a couple.
They were split. There's 4 players.
Metal
2 players?
Gear Online.
Oh, yeah, Metal Gear Online.
Wait, for 4 or
God,
5?
bro.
For 4.
Yeah.
Four.
Dude, so fucking awesome. Dude. Please bring that back, Konami. Please.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
It
it
was
was
fun,
so fun. Playing as like Vamp and shit. Oh.
And obviously, like classics like SOCOM 2 was super fun back in
Yeah.
the day. And Snowboard Kids.
Star Fox 64, like it doesn't really hold up now, but man.
Oh,
played
yeah, we used to play that
so,
one. It was
so
so
much
cool
of
back in the
that.
day.
Or player
Yeah.
split screen.
Oh, the king of all tactile multiplayer, GoldenEye.
Yeah, that is the
Last
classic.
minute
Story,
edition,
right?
yeah.
That was
Last
crazy.
minute, yeah.
Well,
That's
not so much.
crazy.
It was, I watched the documentary. It wasn't so much it was last minute. Is that they were working on it and they were not supposed to be working on it, and they had Ken Lobb to like come in and see it, and be like, oh yeah, we definitely need to convince Nintendo to let you have this. Like they were running behind on the main game, and then like they're like stop working on multiplayer and finish the main game. And they're like, no, you don't understand. This is gonna be a big deal. And they're like, this is what the client paid for. So I mean, maybe it was maybe not at the beginning of development they were working on it, but yes, it was not supposed to be in there.
It's kind of hard to call it tacked on, but truly one of my favorites of recent years is Uncharted 4 survival mode. Co-op survival mode. They added it later.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Dude, the progression in that, the unlocks, like that is such a good mode. I put like 30 hours into that thing. I played so much. So much.
Wally.
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 Yeah.
This is the back in game trailers. We played Wally, and we saw it in a multiplayer mode, and we started playing it. We're like, dude, this is like the undiscovered Halo multiplayer gem of
Whoa.
this generation.
Holy.
We're like, don't like no one's gonna try this, but like, don't sleep on this mode. And now like
Wow.
the game's like are expensive or something to get.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's
Dustin.
not. Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
got?
so I have 2 because one of them's not good, but I got to point it out is the BioShock 2 tactile.
Oh, my
Right.
God. I remember
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played some of that.
Not great, but very interesting. You know, I love this
Yeah.
idea of the multiplayer in the lore. It takes place during the Civil War, the fall of Rapture. Everyone's got
So
plasmids
cool.
and stuff. Really neat. Not necessarily great in execution, but cool idea. And then I heard you say this earlier. I don't know if this is tacked on, but I guess it comes from a different era of multiplayer games, dude. Splinter Cell
Oh
3,
my God,
and I think it was in
don't.
2.
Don't.
Spies versus
Don't.
Mercs.
Spies versus
Don't.
Mercs.
Don't.
Dude,
They brought it back.
Do not
and
do
they brought it
this
back
to
in
me right
Blacklist,
now.
too, by the way.
they what?
Dude, that
They
is.
brought it back in Blacklist too.
Oh, I never played Blacklist. Dude, that was one of my favorites. Straight
This,
up.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember
Straight
playing this
up.
on
Oh my
OG
God.
Xbox. You got the headphones that go like behind your head, you know, that sit there. And I remember the first time that when you're playing as the spy and you get the merc from behind, and then
Yup.
it lets you talk to that person, and you can just
Yeah.
like,
That's
oh,
so
gotcha,
cool.
bitch, or whatever,
Insane.
like, you know, and then you can take them out, dude. I have such
BM.
a vivid memory with that game playing Spies versus Mercs, where I had rented it and I was playing it on a Friday night, and my parents would let me stay up late. That was, you know, they were no problem. And I was playing, I was having a great time, and then my dad calls down from the upstairs. He's like, "Hey, Dustin, go to bed." I'm like, "Why? You told me I could stay up." He's like, "It's 5:30."
Oh my God.
So that was, dude, it was like an all-nighter with that
Yeah,
game.
dude.
That's awesome,
Good
dude.
stuff.
That is
Good
sick.
times. What a pull. What a pick. That shit's legendary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this next question is from Danny Batowski. Love and respect, allies. With all the footage we've seen so far of my my FF7 Rebirth hype is through the roof. However, there are still some yellow flags I've seen, such as radio towers, the return of Chadley, and Red 13 curled up like a shrimp on a chocobo.
What?
Has there been hold on. Let's finish before we cook them, all right? Has there been anything you've seen or played that caused any concern? I am trusting Square Enix after how great Remake was, but I can't help but feel a little concerned about my favorite game of all time.
Dude, Red 13 on a chocobo is like the hypest shit.
Yeah, that's delightful. Chadley is delightful.
Hype as shit.
And gonna have cool VR missions now. We're gonna fight really rad stuff.
Looks like yeah.
I would be upset.
Alexander fight.
Will we fight Sora?
No.
Well,
No.
I'm waiting for like that. You know, Final
Maybe the
Fantasy
third
goes.
game.
Final Fantasy goes that way, dude.
Maybe the
when is
third
Kingdom
game.
Hearts
Maybe
gonna
the
go
third
that
game.
way?
Maybe the third game. That's about it.
All right. Because,
That's
dude,
your best shot.
I mean, we've had Final Fantasy insert itself into Kingdom Hearts numerous times. Cloud, Sephiroth,
right.
whatever. Like,
give you
let's
hope.
have Sora cross the stream. Head on over to the perfect place, dude.
Sure.
You have the perfect vehicle to implement him as a boss fight. Chadley. Chadley.
oh, through the VR.
The VR,
I was gonna
that's
say.
it.
here's
I'm
what
not
I'm
even
thinking,
talking about in the
Hubert.
lore or in the world or anything. I'm talking about a VR battle.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If he did show up somehow, he would just be like in the crowd at Gold Saucer. He'd
Just
be like placing bets on Chocobo or something.
There'll be like a Keyblade somewhere in like the battle arena, and you can't get it. Like he'll be there.
Not even that crazy, dude. Just a little Chadley fight, dude. A little VR fight.
How's he get? Why? What would be the context for that? Why is he making Sora?
Chadley's like, yo, I heard about this like really powerful fighter from another world. I don't know.
Very convenient. Yes. Sephiroth whispered it into his ear.
Dude, but they could just Nintendo it, man. Like this
Nintendo
guy
it?
came from somewhere we don't know. Like,
I think it'd just be like Sephiroth like cross dimensions and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that
the crazy
could happen.
shit that's going on, and be like, I went to all the Square Enix worlds and stuff, and like here's like your challenge. Like it's Sora.
Yeah. In terms
He
of
says that. He said, I went to all the other Square Enix worlds,
yeah,
and here is
that's
your
true.
challenger.
The radio towers don't bother me. Radio towers could be done pretty well if they are. Like I think of Tears of the Kingdom. It's like I don't mind those radio towers at all. It's just how you execute them essentially, and how many there are. Maybe if there's like 900 of them, then I'd be a little annoyed.
yeah.
My only concern so far, I guess, with the game is just if the story will pan out in a way that I like. That's about it. If I will be happy with where it goes.
Yeah.
I guess my only concern is if they forsake the Fort Condor minigame.
I don't think it's going to be in there, dude.
I know, and I'm really scared about it,
It's
dude.
Queen's
Because
blood now.
I have not
Or
been that obsessed
will-
with a minigame since Gwent, dude. Like, this is, like, to me, God tier minigame in a game. I think it is absolutely one of the best ever in terms of a
I
mini-
love it too.
Yeah, I love it more than, like, Blitzball and whatever other...
Okay.
I don't think they need
Slow
to
down.
like bring it back just because it was good though.
I feel like.
But we haven't even been to the titular Fort Condor yet.
Yeah, it's true.
So
maybe we
let's
go-
get...
Okay, maybe there is the real Fort Condor in here, but it's like something different. It's not.
Maybe it's not
This
even in
game.
this part.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in the next part.
You never know. They could rearrange it.
They-
I loved it so much, so I hope it comes back.
Yeah, it's not really even a yellow flag. I put between like green and yellow is just how Vincent and Sid are gonna feel since they confirmed they're not actually
playable.
directly
Yeah.
controllable, but
Yeah.
will be guest party members, and like how I'll feel about that in general. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like those two feel like I should have them, but
You know
I guess
that,
they decided no.
dude? Theory. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know that. That's gonna be the half sequel in between 2 and 3. Mark my words.
Oh,
Them
if
will be
they do
playable.
DLC, you
Yep,
mean?
just like Yuffie got
Intergrade.
Vincent. Yep,
Yeah.
Vincent. 100%.
Although
You heard
I
it
feel like
right
they've
here.
addressed this
Count
already,
it.
though.
Count
I'm not
it
sure.
down
Maybe.
right here. I will push all my chips in.
I would say if they hadn't already talked about it, then maybe. But I feel like they've already sort of said we're not going to do that again.
Lies of P, dude.
Lies of Square.
Lies of
It's
Square.
possible, dude.
Yeah.
How you feeling about it, Dustin?
Dude, so I hear some of these concerns, except for I will not even entertain the one about Red 13 on the Choco. That's
Oh, good.
10 out of 10. I feel like in a way though, I understand. And I'm not saying we should blindly accept anything, but it's like they kind of earned the benefit of the doubt with that last remake. You know, a lot of people are very skeptical,
And
I
integrate
understand. I
as
think
well.
Brad, you're right about the some of the questions. How it feels like they're gonna really change things this time around, but I'm okay with that. I know for any anime fans like Evangelion, they went and they redid things kind of in the exact same way that Final Fantasy is, in that, you know, there's that, is it a remake? Is it a sequel? Yes to both. And it can be done, and it can be done really well. So I'm hopeful. I think it's going to be awesome. That last trailer was very
insane.
good. Are you guys ready? It's Honjo, right, for the Doctor? Are you guys ready to see him on the beach, fully exposed? That was something Gene Park from he's on a Nintendo show we were talking about. Are you ready for Honjo?
Dude,
Mostly nude on
Hojo
the
was
beach.
one of the best parts of that entire year. Straight up, dude.
Yeah.
Psycho Hojo.
I hope he's in a Speedo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hojo in a Speedo. Oh my God. I don't want to see that.
in 4K
In 4K, that's right, dude. Fidelity mode.
on 2 discs.
2 discs, yeah. All right, our final write-in is from Jiggy Diggs. Greetings, allies. It's your lucky day. You have stumbled across infinite wealth. The caveat is you can only use it to buy a gaming publisher and hope to revive a dead/dying/ruined franchise.
I'm buying Sega.
Who would you buy? What franchise are you reviving? What would you like the new game for the franchise to look like? To make it more interesting, since some, if not all of you, will pick Konami, you may also revive a Konami franchise in addition to a franchise from another publisher. Keep it easy, love and respect.
I've had this thought every time I buy a lotto ticket that I would immediately fund Shenmue 4. I'm buying Sega, whatever.
I'm buying Sega.
You have to buy Sega.
Yeah,
right?
I'm buying the rights to Shenmue, and it is immediately becoming the most expensive entertainment product ever made.
Damn.
Yep, ever.
I like that.
More than GTA. More expensive than Grand Theft Auto. All of the money.
Okay.
And it is the final one. There's no more like part, whatever. Like, this is it. One last end-all, be-all, unlimited budget Shenmue.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yes.
Damn. I'm buying Square.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm bringing back Parasite Eve, dude.
Sick.
Man, it's time with survival horror
It is
being
time.
hot.
It's beyond time for
Obviously,
Parasite
it's
Eve.
not going to play exactly like Resident Evil, but you're going to have like that over-the-shoulder camera, dude. And you got some numbers when you shoot them, some
Turn-based,
magic
baby.
spells, that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Bring that shit back, man. It's time.
Dude, you got teased so bad, Brad, earlier. What
Oh,
was
I
it,
know.
earlier this year with the
yeah,
NFT thing? Dude.
yeah. It was ridiculous.
Unacceptable.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, and for Konami, obviously bringing back Castlevania. If we get one Konami one, obviously I'm bringing that back.
That's a good one.
Shout out to Nocturne.
I know we're already like in the endless month of driving games, but gotta buy Criterion.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta bring back Burnout.
Good one, Blood.
Wow.
All right.
Who owns Extreme G, Blood? That's always... That's,
There we go again.
Because it's one of my favorites, and you don't see it or hear it anywhere. Everyone is always claiming, oh, this thing's underrated. Oh, this thing's underrated. Like, no, dude. I have not seen or heard a single human being mention Extreme G. We need it back. It is truly underrated. One of the best N64 racing games I ever played.
Didn't it get a sequel?
There's two.
Yeah,
might have been
it
three.
had sequels up into like PS2, Xbox era. Yeah, GameCube.
Bring it back, dude.
But-
Bring it back, Blood.
It's funny because one of the first games I ever downloaded videos of from like IGN, and it was hilarious because it was like 15-second clips that took us like 5 hours to download, and they were like tiny. But second is one of the very clear differences between F-Zero and Extreme G
Yeah.
at the time.
Oh, no.
Frame rate.
You can cook it.
The frame
You can-
rate
yeah, it's, I know.
is a mess in
It's
that
a
game.
mess. It's a mess. I know. That's why we need like some kind of remaster like they
Right.
did with Episode 1 Pod Racer, dude. Like give it that treatment, man. Extreme G or Road Rash are two franchises that I feel like could live in modern times.
All right.
And
so,
Burnout, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Damian.
they're gonna try and acquire from Sega Let's try and bring back Skies of Arcadia.
Oh,
my God.
Let's start with that.
Come
Let's start with
don't.
HD.
okay.
It's only a matter of time for that. I'm convinced, Damiani, that
hope.
in 2024 we're going to hear about Skies of Arcadia, either a simple port, or a remaster, remake, sequel, whatever. Like we are going to
I
hear
do think it's a game that needs some quality of life things. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember
next year, dude.
I
Next
had
year.
a hard time getting into it because it was just felt like
Well, I
a
only-
very slow start.
Well, Damiani and I always disagreed, and I was just being ignorant to it because I never played the GameCube version. I'm a
the random
Dreamcast
encounters.
apologist,
Yeah, the random
as I must be because they are it's extinct now. But like, I played that
That's
version
one.
only. But the
Yeah.
GameCube version, I think, did have some quality. Like
Well,
stuff.
it just
Is
had
that
the
what I'm talking
reduced
about?
random encounter rate was reduced, but Blood's talking about something else. Like the whole
Got it.
opening of the game might need
yeah.
some like adjustments. Sure, we'll do a project for that, or since it's like one game and like one like small series. Let's keep Valkyria going.
I knew you were
Let's
gonna-
let's get those 2 and 3 PSP games, free them from PSP.
Yeah.
Let's bring them let's make them HD. Let's bring them on over, PC port,
That's right.
PS5, Xbox Series X, Switch, put them on everything. And let's get Valkyria 5, and let's get aircraft in there. I like it's the next thing for this. They have tanks, they have all these like ground-based vehicles, like sea and air are the next place to
Sea
go
and
with
air.
this. And like they've teased aircraft for a while, and it's like they never make it realize. I just want that helicopters, like planes, like summer. They have some places they can go. There's a lot more they can go with that series.
Dustin, what do you got?
So, I would have to buy Capcom because my boy, the Blue Bomber, he's stuck on the moon. He's been stuck on the moon
Oh yeah.
for a lot of years. Mega Man Legends 1 and 2, two of my favorite games on PlayStation, two of my favorite games ever. And here's the thing, Huber, this is kind of like your situation with Shenmue.
It kind of is.
where
Absolutely, yes.
Failed attempt to reboot with Mega Man Legends 3. If anyone who doesn't remember that, they announced it. It's going to be a 3DS game. Already shaky grounds here, right?
Yeah.
Getting the portable port or a portable sequel. A little rough. And then they said, "Hey, why don't you come to our website and help us make it? We can make this game together."
Yeah.
And everyone said, "Fuck no, we don't want to do that. Just make the game." And they took that as, there's no interest in Mega Man Legends 3. Come on.
Come on.
And the director there is, I'm pretty sure the director of Mega Man Legends was recently working on the Resident Evil 4 DLC. So he's still there. There's still people that can make this happen.
There's a
Mega
pulse,
Man
man.
Legends 3.
You got to answer to those damn shareholders.
Yeah. Dude, it's unbelievable. There are dozens of Mega Man Legends fans still out there that would love to see this game.
Yes.
And like I said, we got to get Mega Man. He's stuck on the moon. Cliffhanger.
He's stuck on the
ending.
moon.
Was the last one, honestly,
Make it
not that Battle Network one, but was the last real one 11?
11, yeah, that was a while ago.
That was PS3?
No,
11?
11
It
was
was 4.
recent. It was only a few years ago.
PS4.
It was PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mega Man 10 was?
That
10.
was like Wii originally. 9
Yeah.
and 10 were Wii, and then they came to other.
9 and 10, I'm getting, I thought it was 10, 11. 9 and 10, I'm thinking, and then 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
9 and 10, and it was like,
Dude, I'm
almost-
not
then it was
even-
many years later.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Mega Man guy, but I feel like Mega Man's disrespected by Capcom. They did 11. It's like, come on, this is legendary material we're talking about.
Yeah.
here with Mega Man.
Because he's got
And,
the Inafune stank on him, dude. They don't want anything to do with
Right.
that. They're still upset about
Is he
that.
the creator?
No, he's not the creator.
Okay.
He's just
I've heard mixed things
Yuji
about
Naka's
that.
not just the sole creator of Sonic either. Yeah.
Right.
Like, there's like Miyamoto didn't just create Zelda and Mario. There were other, like Tezuka
Of course.
was like equally involved with that.
Yeah, but he's like the
But
face.
it's like the face, yes.
yes,
Correct.
he's like the face. But yeah, they got.
I wonder what happened to his Kickstarter games. Was it Red Ash?
Red
or
Ash.
something? I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Red ass, yeah. Yeah.
You saw what happened to
Mighty
Yuji Naka.
Mighty
was
number
like,
9 came out
oh.
for 3DS, right?
What?
Mighty Number 9 never came out for 3DS, right?
I don't think it did. Otherwise, I missed it.
I think it was supposed to.
It's probably just laying low now. 'Cause you
Dude.
saw what happened to Yuji Naka.
Back at game trailers, me and Kyle played like that little tech thing for Red Ash.
Right.
It was like a room, and we were just like running around in a room. That was so long ago, dude. It's dead. Unifune.
Vaporware.
Yeah, it's dead. That's vaporware, dude. That is vaporware. All right. With that is the end of this episode of Rain Trap. We're going out on a kind of depressing note. It is what it is.
Mega Man, dude, bring him back.
Yes. Dustin.
Yo, when's the Mega Man
believe.
movie, dude? That's gonna happen.
The anime or the movie?
The Mega Man movie, like
okay.
Sonic style or Mario style.
Yeah,
Let's go. I
maybe.
think Mega Man deserves a shot on the big screen.
He does. He's iconic.
Dude.
Little blue bomber.
Mega Man in IMAX, bro.
Yes.
Zero shows up. It's just like, whoa.
Yes. Dustin, thanks for being here, man. It was
Yeah.
great to chat with you. If people want to know more about you, Dustin, where can they go?
Sure. So yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. I super appreciate it. This was super fun. How long are we at? Did I infect your show with being overly long?
3:15.
We're over 3.
We're over 3.
Shorter
Nice.
than Scorsese's new movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Good way.
if you don't like how long this podcast has been, you absolutely should not check out Sacred Symbols or anything
my
else on
God.
Last Stand Media because it sometimes takes us an hour to get into anything video game related. We've been having this ongoing thing where one of our listeners writing in about his elderly neighbor that borrows his lawnmower and how this is like a conflict. This is the type of quality content you can expect over at Last Stand Media. So yeah,
Well,
over
I like-
there, and then I'm on Twitter at
Yeah.
Dustin Can Fly.
A lot of like
But-
Seinfeld situations that your listeners get into about just awkward
Some
situations.
people get mad. Yeah, some people get mad because they're like, "Oh, it's fake. That's not real." And it's like, well, there may be some of them that are fake, but some of them are definitely real
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, it's like I said, mostly PlayStation stuff. But we have an Xbox show too that I'm not on with Mr. Matty Plays and Lord Cognito of the Iron Lords, and then we also have a Nintendo show that I do with Gene Park and Dagan, Colin's brother, and Colin's fiance Micah. We have a great time. That's bi-weekly, so we have a lot of different stuff. But
Yeah, so check them out. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we see you all next episode. Take care.